Supreme Court Justice.
Ayan,
diba?
okay. So, Attorney, kanina ay sumalang na si Justice Bersamin, no, sa public interview.
Yes.
Sinundan ni Justice De Castro and Justice Diosdado Peralta.
At pagkatapos noon, later on po, ang susunod po namang tatanungin ng panel ay si Justice Andres B. Reyes Jr. at si Honorable Virginia Tejano ang apelido pala siya ng
Tagum City.
Yes, from Tagum City.
May hapon sa tumaigsoon diyan sa Tagum. Anyway, puntahan muna natin si Pauline Requesto diyan sa Korte Suprema. Colleen, ano na nangyari ngayon diyan?
Aljo, nakasuspend pa rin yung public interview para sa mga susunod na Chief Justice o sa mga Chief Justice aspirants. Medyo na-delay kanina yung pagsisimula ng interview dahil hinintay pa yung isang panel member ng Judicial and Bar Council. At sa kasagsagan nga ng interview, nagkaroon din ng ilang technical difficulties sa sound system kaya medyo mas na-delay pa further itong public interview. Nevertheless, bandang 2:00 ng hapon, naasahan natin na babalik na yung JBC at sasalang na nga sa public interview itong sina Justice Andres Reyes Jr. at si Judge Virginia Tejano ang. Aljo, balikan lang natin yung ilan sa mga highlights nung public interview nitong tatlong naunang Supreme Court Justices. Ito nga sila Justice Bersamin, Justice Peralta at Justice Teresita De Castro. Itong si Justice Bersamin, binanggit niya sa kanyang public interview, sa kanyang interview na gusto niyang palakasin itong Philippine Judicial Academy at yung paglalathala ng printing office ng Supreme Court para mas maraming libro yung ma-disseminate patungkol sa mga decisions ng Supreme Court. At binanggit din nga niya yung pangangailangan na ma-improve at makapagpatayo ng mas maraming trial courts at binanggit niya rin sa kanyang interview na sana bigyan ng Kongreso ng karagdagang budget ang hudikatura para rito. Kinilatis naman ng panel yung Statement of Assets, Liabilities and Net Worth o SALN nito ni Bersamin. At sinabi nga niya yung nakalaman o nakalagay sa kanyang SALN ay yung joint assets at joint nakita nilang mag-asawa at binanggit niya na itong si Mrs. Bersamin ay isa palang negosyante na may kaugnayan sa pag-i-import ng mga movie-making equipment. Tinalakay din sa interview yung pangailangan na maresolba ng mabilis itong mga kaso. Ayon kay Bersamin, sa kanilang mga Supreme Court Justices, mayroon sa ilang hanggang 2 taon na para maresolba yung mga kasong naka-assign sa kanya. Pero aminado siya na physically impossible na maresolba ang halos 2,000 kaso para sa 15 justices. Nang tanungin din siya patungkol sa nakikita niyang threat o banta sa independence ng judiciary, sinabi naman ni Bersamin na matuturing niyang banta yung kalidad ng mga judge na sumasalang o nasa loob ng hudikatura. At sumunod naman ngang sumalang itong si Justice Teresita De Castro. Matatandaan natin si Justice De Castro ay nag-serve as a resource person doon sa impeachment proceedings ni dating Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Kaya naman inevitably, tinanong din siya ng JBC patungkol sa naging working relationship nila ni Sereno at sinabi nga ni De Castro na naging maayos naman yung kanilang ugnayan. Sabi niya, we were able to work harmoniously. At may mga komite pa nga si De Castro na si Sereno yung nag-appoint sa kanya bilang working chairperson. Pero mayroon umanong mga naging actions si Sereno bilang Chief Justice na kinwestiyon niya at ginawa naman daw niya ito sa tamang forum. Kaugnay rin ito, sinagot din ni De Castro yung bansag sa kanya ng mga netizen na bitter o ampalaya. At sabi nga ni De Castro, useless na sagutin yung bansag na ito ng mga netizen dahil hindi naman daw nila alam kung ano ang nangyayari sa loob ng Korte Suprema. Mas magiging concerned daw si De Castro kung manggagaling itong bansag na iyon mula sa kanyang mga kasamahan sa loob ng Supreme Court. Siyempre, tinanong din si De Castro dahil nga by October, mararating na niya yung mandatory retirement age na 70 years old. So, tinanong siya, would it be a wise management decision to appoint a Chief Justice na 2 buwan lamang maglilingkod? At ang sabi niya, it's not as if I will only start today of projects that will benefit the Supreme Court. At kasunod nun, ibinida nga ni De Castro na simula nang ma-appoint siya sa Korte Suprema noong 2009 ay marami na siyang mga naging accomplishments bilang Supreme Court Justice at marami na rin siyang mga hinawakang komite. Binanggit din ni De Castro na gusto niyang buhayin itong Ethics Committee para magkaroon ng paraan ng publiko sa mga complaint o reklamo laban sa mga mahistrado. Aniya, dati na siyang naging vice chairman ng komite noong panahon ni former Chief Justice Renato Corona, pero nawala raw ang komiteng ito nang umupo na itong si dating Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Tinanong din si De Castro patungkol sa kanyang SALN. At binanggit nga niya na nasa real estate property itong asawa niya, pero partially or medyo retirado na rin itong mister niya. At itinanggi rin ni De Castro ang mga umano'y property niya sa Maynila, sa Laguna at sa Baguio. Kwento niya, bagamat nasa real estate business ang kanyang asawa, 2 lamang yung property niya at isa nga doon ay yung sa Katarungan Village sa Muntinlupa na housing project noong siya ay nasa Department of Justice pa lamang, at isa naman dito sa Parañaque City. At huli ngang sumalang, ito namang si Justice Diosdado Peralta. Kinwestiyon siya ng mga miyembro ng JBC sa kanyang ponensya. Siya kasi yung naging ponente o yung nagsulat ng ruling ng Supreme Court patungkol sa paglipat ng mga labi ni dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos sa libingan ng mga bayani. Sabi ni Peralta, I think the decision has brought unity to the country, at umaasa nga siya na kasabay nung paglipat o paglibing kay Marcos sa libingan ng mga bayani ay nakamove on na rin yung bansa doon sa isyong iyon. Tinanong din si Peralta sa kanyang opinion sa seniority rule sa pagpili ng susunod na Chief Justice, at sabi niya, bagamat may mahalaga yung seniority dahil nga yung experience ang best teacher sa pagiging isang justice ng Supreme Court, hindi lamang daw ito yung natatanging factor na dapat na i-consider sa pagpili ng susunod na punong mahistrado. At yan muna yung ating update dito mula sa Korte Suprema. Abangan na natin yung pagpapatuloy ng public interview. Unang sasalang itong si Justice Reyes, at kasunod nga itong sinasabi na natatanging outsider sa Supreme Court dahil siya lang yung nag-iisang Regional Trial Court Judge na nag-a-apply bilang Chief Justice, si Honorable Virginia Tejano-Ang. Balik muna sa inyo dyan sa studio, Aljo.
Okay, thank you so much, Pauline Requesto. Attorney Maris, ito na, no? Integridad. Kaya tinanong kanina yung SALN ni Justice De Castro, yung pagsisiyasat sa buhay, isa sa mga panuntunan yan sa pagsasala ng JBC sa mga aplikante, hindi po ba?
Yes, correct. Remember, sa SALN nga nagkaroon ng issue, kaya ang dating Chief Justice Sereno ay natanggal. So, napaka-importante nitong maingat at dapat correct and talagang honest ang pagkakaprepare ng kanilang mga SALN.
Paano yun? Itinanggi ni Justice De Castro kanina yung mga ari-ariang tinanong ng isang miyembro ng JBC. Saan nakukuha yung mga dokumentong yun?
Alam mo naman, di ba sabi, may mga threats
ngayon na
napakaraming ways, because of the technology that we have right now, napakaraming ways to find it out. Minsan nga, alam mo, ito din yung mga kinakatakot ng ibang mga government officials May mga bagay sila na nakalimutan kung nasaan ilagay yung mga SALN, then after some time, it would be produced. Paano kung wala kang ma-produce? Pero na-submit mo na pala. At wala ding mailabas yung patay ka na, baka makawaranto ka. Pero ganun po kaingat. Napaka talagang metikuloso. Kailangan talagang, ang pagdideclare mo doon is talagang with full honesty. Kaya importante yun. And I definitely, when Justice De Castro said na wala talaga. Anong gagawin mo? Wala nga na mai-admit niya yung something na wala siya.
May kapangalan siya doon sa
it could happen.
Titulo ng lupa o sa pagbabayad ng mga buwis, real estate tax, or
A justice
Capital
of the
gains
Supreme
tax?
Court
O, pag
like
ganun?
Justice De Castro is somebody na hindi mo pag-iisipan ng masama na ididina yung bagay na kung may existing naman,
Pero
diba?
hindi mo pwedeng dayain ang SALN, hindi po ba?
Yeah, of course. Kasi na-submit na yan eh. Ang pwede mo lang gawin yun is to correct.
To
Remember,
correct.
you can always correct it. Merong period to correct. Pero pag yung siguro after some time at hindi naman talaga walang corrections, like you know what happened to the former Chief Justice Sereno. Yun ang different. Iba yung pwede mong i-correct kasi nagkamali ka. Iba naman yung talagang hindi ka nag-file. That's one. Yun yung sa kanya. Tignan natin. And this issue about yung merong undeclared, I think the Justice De Castro has said it already na hindi kanya yun.
Susuriin yun.
Of course. And sabi ko nga, a justice of the Supreme Court like these people, my goodness, hindi mo yan pwedeng sabihin na kung merong existing, sabihin niya wala. Hindi naman po. Alam niya yun na talagang wala. And we have to respect that.
Okay.
Kung may issue kayo, alamin nila, di ba?
So, kanina
mahirap maging ano, no? You know,
di mo pwede itago kasi nga nakadokumento po lahat dyan, mga re-arian ninyo. Bibili ka ng movable property, no? O kaya mga real estate. Eh, siyempre,
lahat yan.
Lahat yan.
Ultimo, alahas mo.
Alahas.
Okay.
Kasi may mga...
Okay na ako sa private sector. Mahirap sa gobyerno. Bakit po? Ang alahas mo, i-declare mo. Halimbawa, kung ito, ganito, ganyan, paano kung misdeclare? Like for instance, paano kung yung Rolex mo, bilhin mo lang isa 300, yung pala sabi, hindi, 500 plus yan. Yun ang alam ko. Kaya meron yan minsan yung mga resibo pa.
Mga resibo. Kasi bago ka bibili ng mga mamahaling relo, papapreso ka muna.
Paano kung bigay sa'yo?
Kasi hindi mo na pwede ibenta yan kung...
you have to declare it.
Di ba?
Pwede mo na ibenta kahit walang resibo.
Ganun ba?
Of course. And anyway, ganito
pwede mo hindi isali yun sa SALN?
Hindi, ganito nga eh. Pag sinabi mong ari-arian mo, so kahit ito'y ibinigay sa'yo, ari-arian mo na to. So you have to declare it. Siguro kung, syempre, kung di mo alam yung presyo, at least yung kumbaga sa property, yung assessed value niya, or yung sa real property, assessed value niya, o kaya yung kanyang market value, yun ang i-declare mo. Bawa kung marami ka sasakyan, i-declare mo. Pero kung sinasabi mong property, tapos hindi dineclare, imposible. Tapos sabi niya, hindi, meron po kayong property sa ganito, bakit hindi
So ang iwasan natin, baka masisilipan ka. Meron kang property dito, hindi mo na-declare sa SALN mo, yun na.
Yes,
yan
kasi
po,
ang ano kasi dyan is dapat, alam mo, syempre alam mo naman yung ari-arian mo, no?
So lahat ng mga ari-arian, pagpapasok ka, lalo na dito, sa pagiging Chief Justice.
Hindi lang, basta nasa gobyerno ka.
Nasa gobyerno. Kasi bawat kahit na simpleng empleyado ng gobyerno, meron pong SALN.
Of course. Ultimo, sabihin mo na napakalit na sweldo mo, i-declare niyo po yun kasi talaga requirement yun. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, mahirap magtrabaho sa gobyerno pero napakaganda kasi public service yan. Pero sa private practice, meron din naman kaming public service.
Anyway, sige. Susunod pong haharap sa Judicial and Bar Council ay si Associate Justice Andres Reyes Jr. Siya po'y nagsilbi bilang judge sa Metropolitan Trial Court sa Makati noong pong 1987 at Metropolitan Trial Court sa San Mateo, Rizal, 1990. Na-appoint siya bilang Associate Justice sa Court of Appeals noong 1999, naging presiding justice doon noong 2010. Na-appoint naman siya bilang Associate Justice ng Korte Suprema noong nakarang taon pero na-nominate noong 2014 at 2016. Ayan, si Justice Andres B. Reyes Jr. Nagtapos sa Ateneo de Manila University. Atenista, 1978. College of Law. And just after a year at the Supreme Court, ay siya po'y sumama sa 7 other justices in voting to unseat Sereno. 68 years old, no? Set to retire May 2020. So 2 years na lang.
Alam mo yung...
Kasi mandatory age of retirement is 70 years old sa pagiging Chief Justice.
Kaya nga, di ba kanina, if you can still remember, nung tinanong po si Justice De Castro kung kung halimbawa ikaw ang maya-appoint bilang susunod na punong maestrado ng Korte Suprema, ano pa ang pwede pong ma-contribute sa judiciary considering na in 2 months time magre-retire ka na. Diba?
Or 2 years from now.
I'm sorry,
2 years from now.
No, October 2018 siya magre-retiro.
Hindi.
De Castro, right?
No, Reyes.
No, hindi. I'm sabi ko yung kanina.
Kay De Castro.
Anyway, si Just De Castro, 2 months time. So
ilang taon na ba si De Castro. Anyway.
Kaya nga, in 2 months time, sa October po of 2018, magre-retire na siya. Kaya sabi nga niya, hindi lang naman ngayon lang ako naman na ma-appoint kasi matagal na ako nandito sa serbisyo. At yung 2 months time na yun, I believe na susuportahan siya ng mga kapwa niya maestrado kasi naging sila, maganda yung kanyang rapport sa kanyang colleagues. Ngayon, ito naman si Justice, susunod nga, si Justice Reyes, may 2 years pa kasi 2020.
69 years old na si Justice De Castro.
Yeah.
Okay, so ilang buwan na lang?
2 months nga.
2 months, okay. Okay.
2 months nga. Tapos ito naman si Justice Reyes, sa susunod na interview ng panel, ay magre-retiro siya. Meron pa siyang 2 taon para magsilbi. Ikaw, sa tingin mo ba, in a layman's point of view, do you believe meron bang, may ordinary citizen, alam mo ba, meron ka bang, sa tingin mo, meron bang, kumbaga, kahalagahan kung ang ma-appoint na susunod na mga punong mahistrado ng Korte Suprema ay dapat medyo matagal pa o dapat yung, in 2 months or in 6 months or next year magre-retiro
Well, kasi nga, sinabi doon sa mga, hindi pa nominado actually yan, kasi nga magbotohan pa, no? Kung sino talaga yung nasa finalist ng magiging nominado dyan. Ang daming ni-raise kanina nga ni Justice Bersamin, yung expanded publication ng judicial decision, wala pa pang ganun. Yung mga infrastructure ng trial court, ang daming dapat ayusin daw.
Hindi, ikaw nga, Aljo, for instance, kung ikaw tatanungin,
kung 2 taon na, 2 taon talagang, with all due respect, kasi nga qualified daw po sila lahat.
Kumbaga, point of view of, from a layman's point of view.
Kasi kung after 2 years, pipili na naman tayo ng bagong Chief Justice, siyempre gagastos tayo ng pera dyan.
So anong gusto mo?
Mas maganda siguro kung sino lang ang qualified.
Lahat nga sila qualified.
Kung sino lang ang mapipili. Kasi kung 2 taon, 2 taon lang siya magsisilbi.
Paano kung lalo naman si Justice De Castro?
Na ilang buwan na, 2 buwan na lang, di ba? Well, depende pa rin yan sa presidente.
Ito po kasi, ang gusto lang nating ipaalam sa publiko is that lahat po sila ngayon ay meron na po silang minimum requirements.
Okay.
Kaya po sila na yung nasa panel. Okay? Kaya po ngayon, mabuti nga po at meron na televise yung mga ganito. Actually, meron talaga itong public hearing, yung usually public interview rather. Pero minsan lang po talaga yung televise. Ang last na napanood ko na televise na paghahanap na susunod na miyembro ng Korte Suprema ay yung panahon ni Attorney Acosta, remember?
Okay.
Makikita mo kasi pag nasa tinatelevise po, nakikita niyo kung paano sumasagot ang mga...
Ang gagaling, ha?
Ang nakikita niyo kung paano sila sumasagot. Lalo na ngayon, kasi ito, mga justices na yan Aangat na lang yan bilang punong mahistrado. So, nakikita niyo yung wits. Ito yung mga ihahalal niyong magre-resolve ng mga kaso ninyo. Hindi, ito nga kasi punong mahistrado na. Yung paano kung mga papasok ka pa lang bilang Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Yun ang maganda kasi makikita mo doon kung sino yung may utak at talaga kung sino yung karapat-dapat na umupo dito sa Supreme Court.
So sinusukat yun yung abilidad, no? O kung paano po nila ipapahayag ang kanilang sarili sa uri ng wikang ginagamit po ng abogasya at sa loob ng korte tuwing paglilitis, pagkadalubhasa sa batas. Importante po yan, at prinsipyong legal. Filosofiya at pagpapahalaga at kahandaan. Siyempre, at dedikasyon sa kanilang panunungkulan, pagpapatupad sa matungkulin at responsibilidad sa paghuhukom. Anyway, ang huling sasalang po mga kaibigan sa public interview ay si Judge Virginia Tejano Ang. Siya po ang kasalukuyang hukom ng Tagum City, Davao del Norte Regional Trial Court Branch 1. Siya nag-issue ng warrant of arrest laban sa suspect sa pagpatay sa radio anchor na si Rogelio Tata Butalid year 2014. Yan po, si Honorable Justice Judge Virginia Tejano Ang.
Siya po ay isang hukom or huwes po siya ng Regional Trial Court Branch 1 ng Tagum City. And Aljo, siya lang yung outsider sa lahat ng mga nasa panel po ngayon. So, makikita natin mamaya kung paano niya sasagutin ang mga katanungan ng ng panel ng JBC, di ba? Considering na tapos na, pagkatapos si Justice Reyes, siya na yung pinakasusunod na uli. Di ba medyo
She's 65 years old, and will retire 2023.
So siya yung pinakabata, if
siya
ever.
Pinakabata. Okay, so from Tagum City, Bisaya, taga Davao.
Taga sa inyo.
Taga Davao del Norte, sa Tagum City. So, yan, I'm sure nakatutok lahat, ating mga kababayan, yung mga nag-aaral ng batas, mga law student at mga dekano ng iba't ibang sa akademya. Dapat tutukan to dahil importante po ito mga kaibigan kung paano po magtanong yung mga miyembro ng panel po ng Judicial and Bar Council. Paano ba magtanong sila? Pwede bang no holds barred bang pagtatanong yan? O
Nakita mo naman, di ba, ultimo yung eyesight ni Justice Peralta, tinanong, kasi kaka-opera lang ata ng kanyang mata. Then sinatanong sa kanya, parang, kumusta ba yung eyesight mo? Diba? Parang ganito, parang okay lang po ako, di ba? So, titingnan din yung mga tawag dito, ano ba itong, yung temperamental ni, di ba, yung ni Justice De Castro.
Justice De Castro, tinanong din kanina yun.
Sinabi na, meron ako. You just have to be honest who you are. Ano ba yung mga qualifications? Okay, babalik na naman tayo dun sa umpisa, yung tinakal nyo ni Attorney Alice kanina. Sige, Aljo, since estudyante ka ng batas, ano ba yung qualifications para makapag-apply ka bilang ma-apply mo itong vacancy bilang punong mahistrado ng Korte Suprema.
Ayan, at least natural-born Filipino citizen ka, 40 years old and above, at least 40 years old and above, 15 years. 15 years or more as a judge ng lower court and has been engaged in the practice of law sa Pilipinas for the same period, 15 years siguro din yan, a person of proven competence, integrity, probity, and independence.
Okay, let's explain.
Dapat swak na swak ka sa mga qualifications
yung
na yan.
Yung sinasabi ng 15 years or more na pagiging, yung experience mo sa bilang huwes, meron itong nakalagay is or in the practice of law.
Ayan.
So, ibig sabihin, hindi po naman required na bago ka maging punong maestrado o para makapag-apply ka bilang punong maestrado, kailangan ikaw ay naging hukom. Siyempre, mas maganda yun, advantage yun. Kaya lang, hindi ibig po sa, at least naka 15 years ka, nakalagay po or at least 15 years
in the practice of law
in the practice of law. So, kung private practitioner ka, mukha ko, private
ilang
practitioner
taong ka na, attorney, sa pagpapractice ng law?
Ay, sus, nasa 20 plus years na po
pwede
ako.
ka na mag-apply.
Pwede. At pangarap yan ng lahat ng abogado.
Antayin ko yan.
Ayan.
Ito pa si attorney, magaling na abogado yan, ha?
Okay na ako sa private.
Litigation lawyer, maya-maya.
Mag-umpisa na siguro, no?
Sige, puntaan mo na natin mga kaibigan ang Korte Suprema para po sa pagpapatuloy ng public interview.
Yes po, wala pa po. Yes po. Justice Reyes and Judge Ang, can you please raise your right hand so I can administer the oath? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this panel interview by the Judicial and Bar Council? So help you God. Judge Ang, may I request you to stay in the holding room while the interview of Justice Reyes is conducted. Thank you. Justice Reyes, sir. Your Honors.
Thank you. The first questions will be propounded by our only lady here in the panel, the very worthy daughter of a very, very respected Chief Justice, Mila Cayosa Fernand. Or rather, Mila Fernand Cayosa.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. Good afternoon, Justice Reyes. We have previously interviewed you for your application for the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice several times in 2012, 2014, 2016, and 2017. We will no longer ask you regarding your accomplishments as a presiding justice of the Court of Appeals. We are very familiar with that. I think I will ask you question from the Supreme Court's Appointment Watch. What, in your opinion, on applying the seniority rule in the appointment of Chief Justice? From the records, it shows that you are currently number 11?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And if one were to invoke the seniority rule, you would admit that you would not be among the senior justices.
Yes, Your Honor.
So could you comment if what would be the impact of your application with respect to the seniority rule?
I practically by next year I'll be number 5 in the court. By October of next year I'll be occupying number 5 position in the court. But in the meantime, I come from the grassroots of the judiciary. I started out as a Metropolitan Trial Court judge in 1987. Then I became an RTC judge. Then I became a Court of Appeals judge, as well as its presiding justice from 2010 to 2017. In 2010, I would already had the same rank as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court.
Thank you, Justice. Now, may I ask you about your plans? Should you be nominated and appointed to the position of Chief Justice, what would be your priority? And how will you accomplish this within the next 2 years of what would remain incumbency in the court?
My plan is to adhere to the constitutional provision stated in Section 16 of Article 3, the Bill of Rights, which states that the Filipino should have the right to a speedy disposition of their cases in the judicial department, as well as perhaps also Article 8, Section 15, which states that the Supreme Court should decide a case 24 months within its submission, and the appellate courts within 12 months, and the lower courts within 3 months. I think addressing the delay in the court would be a good point to start as a Chief Justice. And when you address these problems, hand in hand, you would have to go around and talk to the courts, talk to the judges. And when you go around to the courts, you would also get to know what are the problems besetting the judiciary, as well as the causes for the delay and for the causes for inefficiency in the disposition of our court system. I will also use 4 principles I use in the Court of Appeals in my era as presiding justice. One is I believe in honesty is the best policy. And then I also adhere to the principle of management by walking around. And then I also followed the broken windows policy. And then I followed 12 principles, which I got from Glenn Beck, principles in life and principles in dealing with colleagues and dealing with the vast organization, which is honesty, hard work, humility, hope, charity, courage, reverence, thrifty, sincerity, moderation, personal responsibility.
Thank you, Justice. Now, compared to the more senior members of the court who have had more than 10 years of experience, you have less than a year experience in the Supreme Court. How would you augment that lack of experience within the Supreme Court in order to achieve the goals that you have set for yourself should you become Chief Justice?
Well, when I applied and when I addressed this body last year, I promised the court that I will work very hard and do justice for our people. And since I got appointed, I had already disposed of allow me to look at my records. I already have disposed of 760 cases from July to June 30. And since then, I think I had another 150 cases finished. So more or less, I had finished about 900 cases since I got appointed to the Supreme Court. And I'm trying to finish all these cases. And I feel that with this kind of work ethic, I can perhaps grasp what is the atmosphere in the Supreme Court, as well as, of course, giving respect to the en banc and having cordial and good relationships with all of them.
We all aspire for swift, impartial, and even compassionate justice. But historically, the entire judiciary is given only less than 2% of the national budget. What will you do if you are appointed Chief Justice to increase the budgetary allocation, and to how much? And of course, without compromising your independence as a jurist.
Well, when I assume the position of presiding justice in the Court of Appeals, the budget was 985 million pesos. When I left, it was already 1.8 billion pesos. I would have dialogues with the DBM, and I think they could see in me my passion to help the country, and they could see in me the passion of the Court of Appeals in trying to eradicate our cases, our backlog. And when they saw that passion that I was telling them, they agreed to give us more funds, more budget for buildings, more funds for lawyers, more funds for equipment. And I think if I could just exhibit the same passion and appeal to the higher authorities like the President or the DBM, perhaps they will release or allot more funds for the judiciary.
Don't you think that would be a legislative function and not the executive branch?
Well, we need the funds first, and then after we get the funds, of course, the process of implementing infrastructure development like buildings might take some time. But it's all really fund-based because we need more lawyers, we need more judges, we need more courtrooms. So basically, perhaps you could state that the reform sometimes really would need the cash component of it.
Thank you, Justice. Now, moving on to the topic on continuous trial. While it has been shown that it has effectively increased the number of compliance, the percentage of compliance rather, with respect to the 180-day period within which a trial should be completed, many sectors find it very difficult, especially for the judges who are implementing it, to cope, such that many of them are contemplating on retiring early from the service after the final tranche of increase in the salary scales are given. What is going to be your policy with respect to continuous trial? Will you limit it to criminal cases for now, or will you expand its coverage to civil cases given the workload that is being given to the judges?
Well, first I'd like to, I'll seek a dialogue first. My one way of I manage is my principle is management by walking around. It would entail that I would be going to all the courts, talking to them, and asking them their problems. And if they will really insist that the continuous trial is not helping them or is not really the solution, then I'll address the same to the court, to the en banc, and we'll seek a collective solution to this issue of whether the continuous trial is helpful or not, and perhaps is a dampening the spirit and inspiration of the lower court judges.
Are you familiar with the Pillars of Justice Assessment Program with the IBP?
I think I have some vague idea. I've been busy with my decisions, yes.
At any rate, do you think that the IBP has sufficiently done its part as an advocate and sentinel of the rule of law? And what improvements or changes can be done to make lawyers better partners of the Supreme Court? The integrated bar of the Philippines.
Yes, as I said, we need more dialogue with all the sectors who comprise the community. And actually, I think 2 months ago, I was the ponente in increasing the legal fees to be paid by the members to the as dues to the IBP from 1,000 to 2,000. I felt that 2,000 pesos a year is not even enough, but that's what I approve. And I was told that it was languishing for 11 years, that petition. So, of course, we need to have more dialogue with the lawyer so that we can address what besets, what is the cause of delay, or what is the problem of the lawyers also with respect to the judges, and the problem of the judges with respect to the lawyers.
Justice, are you familiar with the recent amendments to the disbarment rules, particularly with respect to how the IBP is to address complaints that are filed directly with the IBP?
I'm not aware, ma'am.
Okay, so what is your viewpoint? Because sometime in October 2015, the Supreme Court came up with an amendment to Bar Matter 850, which would allow the court to suspend pendente lite the member of the bar who has been charged. To your mind, what would be sufficient ground that would merit the suspension of a lawyer while his disbarment case is being tried by the court or heard by the court?
To my mind, if a lawyer would falsify, engage in falsehood, falsify, faking a decision or inventing a scheme in which to help the client, or maybe perhaps the lawyer is involved in criminal activity like drug dealing or perhaps corruption. Perhaps that should suffice for the rules to apply to them in a harsh way.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank
now,
you.
We required those aspiring for the position of Chief Justice to submit a copy of their SAL-ends for the past 10 years, in keeping with the recent decision of the Supreme Court with respect to Chief Justice Sereno. Now, I'm basing my questions on the submissions that you made, particularly with respect to Bakery Incorporated. You're familiar with this company?
It was
Bakery?
Yes.
Okay. In your 2011 SAL-end, you declared the acquisition of the shares in a corporation. That corporation, which amounted to some roughly 172,000. But however, in the shares that you acquired in Bakery, these were not subsequently reflected in your SAL-end for the years 2015, although cash dividends were actually reflected in your SAL-end. Could you tell us why?
I don't know. Maybe that bakery is a bake shop of our family. So I don't know if we have closed down that corporation, or perhaps I just forgot to list down that listing. But it is our family business for the last 20 years. Yes.
We also looked into your land holdings, and per the LRA report, and in your PDS, you stated that you own your residence in Mandaluyong, where you reside now. Is
Yes,
that accurate? However, the LRA report does not state that ownership over that property. Could you tell us why?
Well, it's because it is a property we inherited from our grandparents, and it was subdivided into 20 lots. Some of the lots are still in the name of my father, but the lot that was given to my father was given to him, and in fact, he was able to borrow money on that lot in 1956 to build our house. That same lot is the same lot which I now occupy, which I own and I have declared in that SALN. That lot has been with the family since the last maybe 60, 70 years.
And finally, Justice, my last question. With respect to your SALN, there was a significant drop in your assets from the years 2011 to 2012, from as much as 18 million, and which, although since 2012, that level of your assets have been maintained more or less ranging
Yes.
between 6 to 7 to 8 million. Why the significant reduction of your assets from the years 2011 to 2012?
I think we just applied the new civil service regulation for that year, where it stated that what should be indicated in the SALN is the value, acquisition value, not the fair market value. So instead of saying 20 million for a property, you have to put in the cost of acquisition, which is very, very lower. So that would, I think, explain why there is a change in the value. Is it because we had to follow the civil service rule, which clarified how to declare real property, its value in the SALN.
Have you made efforts to correct the previous entries in your earlier SALNs?
I will try to look into them and look into the property. But this property has been lawfully acquired. It came from my grandfather, and it's my only real property. So there's no, I think, any taint of corruption in that property. Ma'am, thank you.
And just to clinch my questions, what motivated you to apply for Chief Justice, considering that it has just been less than a year since your assumption to the Supreme Court?
I think I accepted the nomination of Justice Victorino. And I come from a family of justices, my grandfather, my father. I think if given a chance, I just want to work and dedicate my life to the idea that justice can be served, and that justice would need a servant to really serve justice. And I'm just offering myself, my services to the country, and if accepted, I'll just work very hard. Like I did as presiding justice. Right now, every day, as associate justice, I still go to office early, and I still leave the office at 5. And I just like to dedicate whatever remaining part of my career as a public servant up to day 70 to volunteer myself in case they see fit that I can step into the shoes of a Chief Justice of the Philippines.
Thank you, Justice Reyes, and I wish you luck. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you, Senator Gordon.
Thank you. I shall have Judge Ilo to conduct his questions.
Thank you, Senator Gordon, Chair. Yes, good afternoon, Justice Andy Reyes, Jr.
Opo, thank you po.
Okay. I would like to start my question coming from the Twitter questions. Namely, Francis, Rami, Adrian, they've been commenting that their questions are not being addressed. But these three questions boil down to a fundamental observation question like this. As one of the most newly appointed Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, if appointed as Chief Justice, how do you plan on working with more senior Associate Justices and introducing your own plans to this institution?
Yes. Most of the justices, like some of them, Justice Bersamin, Justice Del Castillo, Justice Bernabe, and Justice Tiham, were my colleagues in the court, as well as Justice Jose Reyes. In fact, the first four were junior to me when I was already in the Court of Appeals. As I said, I will have a vision of what I want to do as a Chief Justice. I would have to consult with them. And I think I have to stress to them that this will be an en banc decision. It will be a collegial body, and what actions I take, what programs I pursue, and what direction I will bring the court will be in accordance with the solid decision of the en banc. I think collectively we can be able to address the problems of the court. So it will be an en banc decision. All my actions, I would have to pass it through the en banc. Then, as I said, in the way I managed the Court of Appeals, I always followed the 12 principles I earlier elucidated, which is honesty, hard work, humility, hope, charity, courage, gratitude, and thrifty, and moderation, and sacrifice, and sincerity. I think if I exhibit all of this to my colleagues, I think we'll be able to address a lot of problems regarding a collegial body.
All right. Former Chief Justice Sereno was chastised for applying for the position of Chief Justice, despite being then a junior Associate Justice in the Supreme Court, and even more so when she was appointed. Did you have any qualms or reservations when you applied, considering that you would be under the same boat, having been in the Supreme Court for a year or more?
I have been a public servant since 1977, so adhering to the oath or living and sacrificing under that oath, I have no problem. I've been having this life for the last so many years as a public servant. Now, as regards to being a Chief Justice, I was nominated by Justice Victorino, and I didn't really apply until 2 days before when I decided to apply for that position. But the hardship of the office, I'm very much used to. Being an MDC judge and RTC judge, I know the problems and the rigors and the hardship of being of a judge in a far-flung place. So there is no need for me to have a transition period from private practice to becoming a member of the court.
According to Justice Teresita de Castro, in her 2012 interview for Chief Justice, moral fitness is required of the Chief Justice. Can you tell us more about yourself, which are not found in any of the submitted applications you have, news reports, and social media posts, which will show that you possess moral fitness worthy of becoming Chief Justice?
Well, I don't. At present, I don't have any administrative case, and I had not one in a long period now. I think my colleagues in the Court of Appeals, as well as the employees, can attest to my moral fitness, as I was with them for the last 17 years. I'm always ready for you to ask any of them about my conduct as a member of the Court of Appeals or as its presiding justice. I would like to think that I followed my grandfather and father, who were both members of the judiciary. My grandfather being Supreme Court Justice as well as Secretary of Justice in OSG, and my father being a presiding justice. I think it is my duty to follow them in the moral fitness category, because I am following big people whom I admire, and I would not want to destroy their name nor tarnish their name, and if possible, add more meaning and more moral authority to the name I carry, because I will carry this name forever, and I want my children and my grandchildren to be able to walk in the streets of Manila without any people saying something at their back.
But, it appears that there are quite a number of cases filed against you. You, however, disclose only 3 cases in your PDS. Why?
There were, I think they were when I was RTC judge, Your Honor. As Court of Appeals judge, there were some cases, but I was not the ponente. I was just part of the division, I think. And then there's this case wherein there was this lawyer who has filed, I think, cases against almost everybody in the Court of Appeals.
But you were then required to disclose all the administrative cases filed against you,
Yes, we did.
whether it's dismissed or not.
I think these cases were the Malyari cases, and I think they did not reach the point that I was to make a comment.
How do you think we should view such alleged attempt of concealment, Justice?
I never concealed, because it was public knowledge that this case were there all the while. In fact, I never thought there were cases, because they were more or less just letters sent to us.
All right. If there was one thing you would like to come clean about before you become a Supreme Court Justice, what would it be? If there is one thing you possess that...
One thing I possess.
that will be an edge. You have an edge with the other applicants. What would it be?
I think all the applicants are fit and all are qualified. I do just have some background in managing the Court of Appeals, being its presiding justice for the last 7 or 8 years. And having also come from the Metropolitan Trial Court. So I would know all the 4 levels of the court.
You mentioned about the legacy you're going to leave, the reason why you want to become a Chief Justice.
I think it's not just for a legacy. I think it's just to serve the country.
And mentioning about your children, you have how many children, Justice?
I have 3 children, 3 boys.
In your PDS, it's not indicated the name of your wife. No? It's only N-bar-A.
Yes.
N-bar-A.
Yes, I had been declared single already. My marriage was annulled already.
So what does N-bar-A stand for?
I don't have a wife, so it's
not applicable, not available. What? Your marriage is annulled. So,
yes, Your Honor.
But you should have put maybe NB. When asked about this, none of your business, siguro.
It means no attachment.
No attachment. Anyway, that was my last question. Then thank you for your time. And good luck to your journey, Justin.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge Ilaw. And now we go to Judge Mendoza. Justice Mendoza, sorry.
Thank you very much, Senator. Good afternoon, Justice Reyes. What are your thoughts on judicial activism?
Judicial activism, it would mean that in the United States environment, you have two kinds of judges, that the activism and there is judicial restraint. In judicial restraint, the Supreme Court would restrain and defer to the wisdom of the President as well as Congress. In judicial activism, there is a clamor for the Supreme Court to do more for the rights of the people than is necessary. That's what you call activism. But in the Philippines, judicial activism is very well covered already by Section 3 of Article 8, which says that the Supreme Court can determine whether there has been grave abuse of discretion or amounting to excess of the same involving the act of any government instrumentality or branch. So this act would mean to any act of government. So this would really be what you call activism already. So inborn into our Constitution is judicial activism because the Supreme Court can now look into any act of any government instrumentality or body or branch of government.
In all cases?
Yes, because it says any act of any branch or instrumentality of the government. So that could mean the Supreme Court can entertain petitions regarding grave abuse discretion on the actions of any branch or instrumentality of the government.
Should it not be only in cases of grave abuse of discretion?
Yes, that's
the
why.
Exercise of judicial review?
Yes, it should be grave abuse discretion amounting to whether there is already grave amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction.
How about the minority issue in the lower house of Congress? Do you think the Supreme Court should interfere or act on a petition filed by a disgruntled group?
I think we should not look into the acts of Congress. We should restrain ourselves and not interfere in their process in the Congress.
Suppose there is an allegation that there was a violation of their own internal rules. Could you not consider that? Can you not consider that as a grave abuse of discretion?
I don't think it is grave abuse because we still have to defer to the wisdom of the Congress.
What is your view on judges and justices receiving allowances from LGUs? Do they not undermine judicial independence?
I have been a judge for a long time, MTC and Regional Court. The allowances are helpful to the judges. They're helpful and really help them in their personal needs. And I don't think it would sway a judge from deciding a case on the merits because of any allowance.
You have been in the Supreme Court for a year, and you must be familiar with the internal rules of the court. What rule do you think needs tweaking? Should you be appointed as Chief Justice? What rule do you think needs tweaking or amending?
I think so far the way I see the rules coming out, I think it's all right. There are just some problems regarding who will be the ponente after an MR has been filed and the ponente has retired. But I think by and large, the rules governing the Supreme Court are practicable, working, and I think I would accept them at this point in time.
I think those are covered already by existing rules. If a ponente retires or is appointed to another position. Anyway, I will go to the initial case load. Are you familiar with the initial case load of a new justice?
Yes.
What is the rule on that?
The initial case load of the incoming Supreme Court Justice, basically, he inherits the caseload of the justice who was retired and he is replacing. So if Justice A would retire, the incoming Justice Justice AA would get his caseload, and if that is 1,200, this Justice AA would get 1,200. I had the same problem in the Court of Appeals when I was presiding justice. It is also a matter of inheriting the caseload of somebody coming in. And there were cases wherein the justices had inherited very little, or sometimes none, sometimes big. Fortunately, in the Court of Appeals, there is proviso in our internal rules that the presiding justice can disregard the rule on the unloading of cases and make his own formula. So in the Court of Appeals, I did not follow the inheritance rule. Sometimes I would change it to make it more equitable and more responsive to the needs to dispose of the cases early.
Will you do that in the Supreme Court?
As I said, in the Supreme Court, everything will be by consensus. Perhaps I'll toss the idea to the NBank, and if there is a majority who feels the same sentiment, perhaps we'll try to change the way the caseload is given to the incoming justices.
Thank you very much, Justice
Thank you.
Reyes. That will be all.
Thank you.
Senator Gordon.
Thank you very much, Justice Mendoza. Good afternoon, Justice Andy.
Good afternoon, sir.
I was going to call you Justice Andy Garcia. I had to check myself. Let me just ask a few questions here, if I may. What do you think is the ultimate impact of the impeachments that have happened, or rather the taking out of two justices, chief justices, no less, two consecutive ones, Justice Corona, and then later on Chief Justice Sereno? Does it, thank you, does it more or less create a very, very bad precedent, so much so that there will be a rigodon all the time? Do you think that there is an intrusion by the president or by the executive to means fair and foul in this issue, especially in the case of Chief Justice Corona on the matter of Hacienda Luisita, or in the case of Chief Justice Sereno, that apparently there were valid grounds, but on the other hand, in the same manner that Chief Justice Corona was probably impeached for valid grounds as well. But what is the impact of that, absent the grounds?
Well, the impact is a wake-up call for us to be always on our toes and always to be adherent to the Constitution and
on your political toes or on judicial toes?
Judicial toes, to be on our toes and to work harder, to be more faithful to our oath, and to just render justice based on fairness and the merits.
And with all due respect, sir, do you think that the intrusion of the impeachment cases and as well as the Serrano case caused a serious rupture in terms of the independence of judiciary? You saw people rallying here, fighting for the independence of the judiciary on both instances. I was very, very much disturbed, quite frankly, with that, because that's never been done. But especially coming out with antecedents that are very questionable. So, bagay ba ho yan na dapat maintindihan ng mga tao sapagkat humina ata ang spine ng Korte Suprema?
Well, we have to get over it. We have to admit that happened. And we just have to go over it and move on and just work harder. The new Chief Justice who just try to work hard to be able to regain back the respect of the Supreme Court.
You mean the Supreme Court lost its
No,
self-respect?
on that analysis, if the people are rallying in the streets, he has to do, the Chief Justice will have to do to regain an era wherein perhaps that can be avoided.
It must be avoided.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because of that, is there a danger once again that when that happens, do you think the present Supreme Court will have enough strength in their spine to say together that there is an intrusion in the independence of the Supreme Court? Because I heard you say a while ago that we should let a co-equal branch do its thing in the same manner that the Supreme Court should have its things. And you're familiar, how many battalions does the Supreme Court have when they are trying to stand up against a very, very strong president?
Well, Your Honor, the Supreme Court can only be able to establish its strength through its decision-making powers.
And through its integrity.
Yes. We just have to adhere to our work and do it every day, day in and day out, until we have reached that apogee that the respect is there like a rock.
But your strength must come from the integrity of the soundness of your decisions, the intelligence of the people here, the integrity of the people here, so much so that they can stand up and say, that is wrong, and we will stand up. In the same manner that you had, I hope my history is correct, my reading of it, you had the Justice Abad Santos, Jose Abad Santos, who gave his life in World War II. Rather than coalesce with the Japanese, he had his head lopped off by the Japanese. I don't see. I wish we could have the Supreme Court have statues of folks like him who can stand up against the specter of death.
As I said earlier, in my 12 values which I use, one of them is courage.
Courage.
Yes, that's one of the 12 values I announced earlier. I got it from Glenn Peck, which is a political commentator. This is 12 values in his life, and one of them is courage. We must have courage in life.
And would you be able, as the youngest member of the Supreme Court now, or for that matter, a prospective Chief Justice, be able to lead the Supreme Court, or be able to assert yourself and discuss this intelligently, with courage and conviction, with your peers in the Supreme Court, pagka mangyari uli yan?
Yes, there has to be courage, but there must also be dialogue, because the Supreme Court can only act as one.
Yes.
So I have to defer to the majority will of the Supreme Court. Of course, yes. Sorry.
Yun nga po ang ibig ko sabihin we all know that kailangan may discussion. But in the discussion, the will of the majority doesn't necessarily have to. You have to win the majority by the courage of your convictions and the soundness of your arguments and your intelligence and your integrity. And at times, for example, marami sinasabi, Duterte court na yan, Marcos court yan, Aquino court yan. I bristle about that because I'd like to think, I live in another world where the Supreme Court is a bastion of independence na pwedeng sabihin, no sir, you are wrong and this is what we have. Even if we don't have battalions, gagawin namin tama.
Yes, I think there must be courage on the part of the Supreme Court. It must be able to swallow its weaknesses and move on in spite of all the possible fallout it would get if it would decide adversely against any person or any organization or any political party.
There is a Supreme Court justice right now who speaks like that. He disagrees with the president, and I agree with him on the matter of the West Philippine Sea. Justice Carpio does that, to the point that the president yesterday, and I'm very happy about that, stated that the Chinese are going so far and that they should tarry a little and respect us. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's the kind of thing I would expect from the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Yes, there must be courage and, of course, all the other attributes needed like sincerity, honesty, hard work. All of them must, those 12 principles I said earlier, they should be part of how the Chief Justice would be leading the court.
Let me ask you a question now. Sinabi ni Presidente Duterte kahapon, hindi ako papayag na ang Presidente ay si Robredo. At kung siya ang mangyayari niyan, gagawin kong military junta. Even if I know he doesn't mean that. But as far as I'm concerned, pag kami nagsabing gano'n, dapat may sasabat ka agad sa amin sa Senado, sa Kongreso, or for that matter, would any justice of the Supreme Court remind the President that there is a Constitution? That there is a system of succession? I may not be a fan of the Vice President, but I am not. But I respect what some of the things that the President is doing. But at the same time, when he starts doing something that I think might endanger the country, for example, when he talks about revolutionary government, I don't agree with him. So you don't want the President to fall on his own sword.
Yes, I think we have to make it aware to everybody that the Supreme Court is the bastion of democracy, and the Supreme Court will follow what is dictated in the Constitution.
That's good to hear, but it's acta non verba, isn't it? Action, not word.
Yes,
I just want to do that so that we can tickle the imagination of young lawyers out there, or future lawyers, or future justices of the Supreme Court. The next question I have is, do you think that the Supreme Court has intruded into this legislature? We have the power of contempt, and I chair the Blue Ribbon Committee. And when there are people who abuse us, and most of the time some of us abuse the resource persons, and I plead guilty to some of my colleagues, and even sometimes perhaps in weakness, those things will happen. And there is an assertion that in a public hearing, particularly on the matter of important national interest concerns, there will be a very aggressive investigation and a very strong interpretation. Now, there is a decision recently on the Balag case that says the powers of contempt of the Senate or the Congress must be limited up to the term, until the next term. Now, there was a previous decision, I don't remember exactly the name, where one person was held in contempt and stayed 7 years in Muntinlupa. That's the other extreme.
yes.
Because obviously when the senators are no longer there, there's a new Senate. But on the other hand, you have to uphold the fact that when you're investigating, the person in front of you must respect and must answer questions, especially if he's aware of that. Do you subscribe to that?
Yes, I think there's a need to really penalize those who evade or wouldn't want to answer questions in court or in
or is disrespectful?
Disrespectful.
Earlier, I heard Justice De Castro ask a question on a lawyer that she kicked out of her courtroom. That's too harsh. She sent out of her courtroom because there was riot, catastrophe, and calamity between lawyers, as lawyers are wont to do at times. And I'm, of course, exercising a little bit of humor here.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she was not excoriated by the Supreme Court for having kicked this fellow out, and I will use the more extreme word, but for not using the proper procedure, which is to declare him in contempt. Now, of course, maybe Justice De Castro probably said, well, I don't want to have to put you in contempt, but for the moment, I can ask you to leave the court so that you will not be in contempt. But should she have right away declared the person in contempt?
I think you have to declare her in contempt first, Your Honor.
Indirect contempt?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I think that sometimes when push comes to shove in a very difficult situation, one has to remind oneself also that sometimes there is compassion or there's mercy, but at times even when you try to be compassionate by not putting somebody in contempt, you could be still criticized by your peers, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
And because you are a young justice of the Supreme Court, when you put it in the context of all the justices of the Supreme Court here, in a collegial body, would you be exposed to the same kind of pressure by your peers when you are making or discussing or consulting one another? Would you just bow to seniority, or would you argue your case respectfully, although forcefully, or would you have that ability to do so? Or I'll stretch it out. Will it periscope the future? Supposing you're now Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, and I'm sure this is the kind of thing that Justice Sereno underwent as well. She was the atmosphere has already been tainted in the sense that you have about 10 justices of the Supreme Court that don't agree with her, or that from the very beginning the decision to appoint her because she was very, very young was taken against her, because many of the justices would not have been Chief Justice for the next 17 years. Two questions. Do you think that that was the right decision on the part of whoever was the president at that time to appoint somebody extremely young, knowing that she would be exposed to a very conservative or very rule-laden or very traditional-laden body like the Supreme Court? Or for that matter, should she have had more support when she was already under criticism to the point that, the third question being, she should have herself say, I will save the Supreme Court. I understand where the justices are coming from, and maybe I should just step back and let the Supreme Court go on with their lives. What would you have done on those three cases? I'm sorry, I'm not putting it on the spot here. It's just
no, Your Honor. I'm already 68, so I don't have the time of Justice Sereno. That is about 20 years. So
you're older, in other words.
I'm older than her.
By about 30 years or 20 years?
I think 15 years, something like that. So it's different. And if it is to save the court, then I have to swallow my leadership and try to have a court that is functioning
and harmonious.
Sometimes as a leader, you have to be the follower. And sometimes as a leader, you also have to lead by example. So I guess I have to follow them.
But when you're right, as she thinks she was right, would you have asserted yourself and tried as much as possible to convince everybody in the court, "Hoy, magkakasama naman tayo. Ito naman ang aking posisyon. Pakinggan naman niyo ako."
In management,
Did she do that?
In management, sometimes rightness depends on the time. You could be right next week, but maybe
that sounds like situation ethics.
Yes, maybe today, maybe you will just first lie low, then maybe next time you'll be right. So it's a matter of management and what you call this.
I don't think justice you're talking about right. I think you're talking about expediency. That there's a time and a place to say that I will not do this, but right never changes.
Yes.
even in the face of might.
Yes, yes.
Right?
That's why
Even in the face of might.
sometimes you can effect reforms not at that precise time, maybe a day after or maybe a month after. But what is important is that you have a vision and you go to that vision. Whether you make a left turn, right turn, going up, going down, you're going towards that vision, and that's important.
In other words, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry,
And
sorry.
perhaps on that way to that vision, perhaps later on your colleagues can be able to visualize what is your vision, and perhaps on the way they'll join the bandwagon, and maybe by the time you get there, you're already together as one big happy family.
I don't know what you mean by one big happy family. I get scared about one big happy family in the Supreme Court or even in the Senate, because we are one big happy family there, but at times we argue with each other, and sometimes we have to tolerate some other people there, and it's called civility and diplomacy. Sometimes I think I myself lack that.
Yes.
A lot of times.
Yes, it's really decency and fairness and fair play and respect to one another.
Yes. Obviously, we live in difficult times. You have Mr. Trump in the United States, and you have somebody in Turkey who's times have changed, as somebody was saying here. Should we go with the time, or should we oppose what is happening in time to do the right thing, even if it's uncomfortable?
Well, the Supreme Court will sometimes try to assess. Let's say there is a law that enacted, and sometimes it will not touch the merits of that case because it would allow it first to see how that law is being implemented, even if it could be that it is later on to be declared unconstitutional. There's sometimes you allow the wisdom of the law to first be implemented and to be sounded off before you really declare it unconstitutional. So sometimes you defer to the wisdom of the legislative intent.
I guess what I'm trying to say is judicial statesmanship.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is what we aspire for.
Yes, Your Honor.
And just a last statement. Have you defined yourself, or have you defined the kind of Supreme Court you want to have? Because my own view of any matter, any endeavor, and I can speak for myself, I always define who I am, and I always define what kind of organization I must have, and then start discussing this with my peers. So in your particular case, how would you define the Supreme Court that you want the Filipino people to have?
Well,
and your role in it?
I will not emblazon my name in any action of the Supreme Court. It will be the Supreme Court itself. I will not put any personal tag on it, nor put any personal agenda on it. I will just want to see the Supreme Court do its mandate, that is to decide cases. And I think the first thing we have to do is really address and try to attain the right of a Filipino to a speedy disposition of a case before the judicial branch.
So it must be a fast Supreme Court.
Yes, because that is clearly stated in the Constitution that the Filipino has the right to a speedy disposition of their case.
So the justice delayed, as a hackneyed phrase, more honored in the breach rather than the...
Apparently that is recognized in the Constitution.
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes, Your Honor.
And there's an awful lot of cases that have been dragging on for years.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that there must be an effort on the part of whoever the Supreme Court Justice is, or the Chief Justice, to try and make an effort and extend himself outside that circle of comfort and lobby, as I heard Justice Peralta here said a while ago, that we must avoid delay and we must make sure that we have continuous hearing of cases.
Yes, Your Honor. We have to address this delay from ourselves, because if we don't address the delay from ourselves, how can we lead the lower courts and tell them to address the delay if we are not examples of no delay?
That is the phrase that I've been waiting for the whole afternoon. that whatever you do up here will cascade down, and if the Supreme Court's slow, the lower courts will be slow. If the Supreme Court has a taint of corruption, that taint will become a sea of corruption below. And if the Supreme Court is not adequate and lacks integrity, it will go down the line.
We have to lead by example as members of the court. I think that is the embodiment of a Supreme Court justice. We are up there, and if we are up there, the people below look at us. Yeah, so we have to act accordingly as mandated by our sworn duty to be servants of the public.
And of course, while that is easy to say, you can prove that by going back to the history of the Supreme Court of justices who have not gone beyond the pale and who have done yeoman's work in making sure that justice is attained here.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's why we went back to Justice Abad Santos. We talk about Justice Fernan, and in the good old days, you know, the great justices of the Supreme Court, Justice J.B.L. Reyes and many others. So much so that the definition now in the future must be a combination of all these people so that the Supreme Court will be the real shield of democracy in our country.
Yes, Your Honor. That's our dream, Your Honor.
Next time I will apply for the Supreme Court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Reyes.
Okay,
So-
balik po tayo dito with Attorney Maris. Associate Justice Andres Reyes Jr. At ni-raise na batas sa Section 16, Article 3, Bill of Rights, speedy disposition of case. Importante yan, Attorney.
Ay, ano yun?
Mariso.
Karapatan din niya ng lahat naman ng mga nasasakdal at lahat naman siyempre ng mga nasa husgado. Well, anyway, si Justice Reyes, siya yung only Duterte appointee.
Among the justices,
yes, na contending parties. At siya kaka-assume lang po niya bilang Associate Justice of the Supreme Court nitong 2017. At siyempre, among dun sa mga justices, siya yung pinakabata.
Siya yung pinakabata.
Usually, di ba, mga tanong is, paano mo i-rule o paano mo mapapasunod yung mga mas nakakatandang maestrado sa'yo kung ikaw ay, kung makakatandang hubes sa'yo, kung ikaw ay mas bata. Di ba?
Alam mo naman natin, pag ikaw ay mapipiling Chief Justice, meron tayong katagang first among equal. Sa Latin yan, parang primus inter pares.
Parang narinig ko na yan,
Okay. Yun po, So, ganun pala, Mayroon pa ng certain period na dapat madesisyonan ng korte ang lahat ng mga issues o controversies diyan sa... Ay, sige, balikan muna natin ng Korte Suprema. Si Judge Virginia Tejano ngayon ang ini-interview, public interview, Supreme Court. Balikan natin.
That was when you were to be considered for the position of RTC judge. What made you apply for the position of Chief Justice?
To tell you frankly, I really did not apply for Chief Justice. It so happened that when I applied for the position, that's the vacant.
So I suppose that
Because all
explains...
the while, I was thinking that Chief Justice is like in the lower court, like executive judge. So I applied for the presiding judge of the lower court, RTC, before, and when I became the executive judge, I was appointed by the Supreme Court. That is why, in my mind, I was thinking that Chief Justice is you're not going to apply for Chief Justice. It's only for Associate Justice. It so happened that when I applied for the position, yun po ang bakante. Nagkataon lang po.
Okay, Judge, at any rate, are you thinking of applying for an appellate court position other than the position of Chief Justice in
No,
the
I
future?
did not. You know why? Because of my long experience as an not only as a judge, but before being appointed as a judge, I had been in private practice, for so long. So because I'm already of age, I think the best position for me is to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. I really did not intend to apply for the Chief Justice, but so happened that when I applied for the position, it's the one that is vacant at that time.
So anyway, this interview will be valid for a year, so I will ask you questions that would be relevant to positions that you might decide to apply for in the future. Okay, now let's start with your personal data sheet.
Yes.
You know that your personal data sheet should be a complete, accurate, and up to date with respect to the data that is contained therein, because it is under oath, right? So let's start with your husband. He is a retired businessman. What type of business was he into in the past?
Before, it's a coffee buy and sell business, coffee beans.
And you say he is retired now, so he's no longer in business?
Yeah.
Okay. Next. On page 7, you are required to put in your MCLE. Are you familiar with the rules on mandatory continuing legal education? MCLE.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are aware that exemption is not automatic.
Yes, I know.
So even if under the rules you would be exempted, but it is incumbent upon judges to still obtain a certificate of exemption.
And I did obtain.
So do you have the number of your MCLE exemption certificate with you?
It's already submitted to the JBC. That's why all my requirements are complete.
Yes, but in your PDS you did not indicate your MCLE, and let me just quote what you stated in your letter, and I will read it. And I quote here. As a judge, we don't need to attend MCLE because we have our own seminar set by the Supreme Court.
Yes, it so happened, Your Honor, that when I submitted all the requirements, it was on the deadline. I submitted them all, and I was able to get that certification from MCLE, and it was submitted on the very day of the deadline.
Okay.
When I executed the PDS, I was still in Tagum, Davao del Norte. That's the reason why I was not able to place it, the certification, because at that time, I was not able to obtain it yet. But I had to travel to Manila, go to Pasig in order to obtain that certification, and I was able to do it.
So you already have a certificate of exemption?
Otherwise, I would not be included
And that
here.
would be for what compliance period, may I ask? What compliance period?
The MCLE exemption.
Yes, because there are several compliance periods. We're already on to our
until now, until 2019.
So do you have your certificate from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
Yes, I have.
Okay, perhaps you can furnish the JBC with a copy of your MCLE certificates.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Now, on page 10, you were asked to disclose the formal or informal complaints filed against you.
Yes.
And here, in answer to the question, have you ever been charged with violation of any law, decree, ordinance, administrative issuance, or regulation, or by any court, prosecution office, tribunal, or any government office, agency, or instrumentality in the Philippines or in any foreign country? Meaning, have you had any civil, criminal, administrative, or special proceeding case filed against you? And you answered no.
Yes.
So, is that accurate, that you have no cases that were ever filed against you?
The word not ever, because before I became a judge, there was a case filed against me. It's about the property in Bansalan.
So is that a civil case, a criminal case?
No, civil. It's a civil case.
Okay, so
I was the one who planted the improvements there, and it was already decided by the MTC as well as RTC.
Okay. How about during your incumbency as a judge? Have you ever been filed any administrative case?
None.
Are you sure?
Yes, only I understand that I went to the court administrator to to understand what was filed against me. There was two filed when I was still sitting as the acting presiding judge, and because it is a single sala court, also an acting executive judge of RTC Nabunturan. Okay, and a case was filed. It's not really a case because it was just a complaint filed by for the reason that I refused to inhibit from a case, and the other one is just because I issued the habeas corpus, which is under. If we really wanted to render true justice, we should issue that order, that habeas corpus.
Okay.
Yes.
So, in other words, there was a case filed against you, albeit not a regular administrative case.
It's not a regular administrative case.
It was an IPI.
Yeah, IPI
Okay.
pa.
In fact, there were 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No
Okay.
cases
In
actually.
fact, so it's not accurate to say that you have never been filed an administrative case against.
It's not yet administrative. Kasi IPI pa daw. I even asked the court
Wouldn't that also
administrator.
fall
It's
under-
still investigative case. But the one of the cases, that there are two. One of them about the my refusal to inhibit, it was already dismissed. The other one is still pending, but still under investigation.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened.
So, fact remains that there were cases filed against you.
It's the OCAD told me that it is not yet a case. It is still investigation. It is still
Okay,
IPI.
whether it is in the investigation stage, in the regular administrative case stage, it is a case nonetheless. Okay,
It's
well,
not-
the rules require that you make such a disclosure. I have here a clearance certificate with respect to your cases filed during your incumbency as RTC Judge of Tagum. And it states here the following: OCA IPI number 11-3733-RTJ, docketed on September 5, 2011, and another one, OCA IPI number 11-3812-RTJ, docketed on December 8, 2011. Do this ring a bell to you?
May I know what the case is
Okay.
that about?
With respect to 11-3733 RTJ, it was filed by a complainant, Villanueva Ferdinand R. Prosec. In fact, in this case, you filed an answer. You were required to file an answer, and you did on March 16, 2012. But I see no disclosure of such case in your...
What is that case about?
With respect to violation of Constitution, Code of Judicial Conduct, I believe from the records that were
think it was
provided
already
to me
dismissed.
that it was a case with respect to your jurisdiction. So,
who
and from
filed it, please? Who filed it?
Ferdinand Prosec Villanueva.
Ayan. That was, I think that was already dismissed.
No, actually, the status here as of August 7 is that it is pending, under evaluation. Moving on, may I... Do you recall this case filed by...
I have my documents in the room. Can I
Okay.
get those?
May I just know, you did not make that declaration in your
Because
PDS?
the question is not clear. It is about cases filed already. But if it is still an investigation, because I already asked OCAD about it, and they said it's still in an investigation stage, it's not yet a case.
Okay. Well, perhaps it may interest you to know that we do not make any
Anyway,
distinction.
since this JBC and the Supreme Court are just nearby, you could investigate me. There's no problem about that.
And that is why, Judge, that we require the parties who want to be considered for judicial posts to make that disclosure. Because instead of us looking for the cases, wouldn't it be better that it came from you?
Okay, maybe I did not understand, because when I really asked OCAD about it, and they said it is not yet a case. It is still investigative stage.
Well,
So
they
that's
issued
the
us-
reason why I did not include that.
Judge, I would not want to argue with you, but I will just base it on the record that was provided, the JBC. And the last case was OCA IPI 17-4692, filed by a certain Cipriano Montero Jr. So I believe that those two cases, the one filed by Mr. Villanueva and Mr. Montero are still pending. Okay?
But also in this investigative stage also. And for your information, that case of Montero was already decided by the Court of Appeals, and it affirmed my decision.
But not the IPI. It has not been
It's still
resolved.
investigative stage,
Okay.
please.
Okay, so moving on, Judge, to other matters. Now, actually, you have quite an impressive record with respect to the disposal of your cases. In fact, in your court, where you sat in a acting capacity in the Bunturan, you managed to bring down the caseload by as much as 32% at one point. You now have, as of May 2018, 645 cases. No? Based on your experience, do you think that that would actually qualify you to become an associate justice of the Supreme Court that you say that you want to aspire for in the future, given that you would need at least case disposal of over 100 cases in a month's time?
So I don't think there's problem on that. If you're already sitting, let's say, as an associate justice of the Supreme Court, you just do your work. You know the caseload. I do not know the caseload here, but if you're already sitting as an associate justice, then you have to do your work.
With the indulgence of Good Center, I just have one more question. Now, a month ago, or rather 2 months ago, your driver figured in a car accident, is it not? And in fact, this
Not
was...
month ago. That was a year ago, August 18, 2017.
Okay, so I stand corrected. That was 2 years ago. Or there's another one that was actually brought to the attention of Rafi Tulfo. Is that more recent?
The problem with Rafi Tulfo is he would side with one when he has not yet talked to you. That's the problem.
So
just because I am a judge, he was thinking that I connived with the policeman. When I did not know, even I was not able to meet the policeman.
Perhaps you might want to use this opportunity to explain yourself.
For your information, the victim, the victim in that accident, the one who bumped us, the one driving the motorcycle was the one who bumped us. I was then on my way going to attend a seminar in Davao City. I came from Tagum. Now, as of the moment, the PAO lawyer already tried to amicably settle the case. And for your information, when that happened, after I attended the seminar, I went to the hospital and even paid for the cost there. That's one. And then I went to the prayer house because we have a group. We have a prayer house. I went there to borrow the wheelchair, and brought the wheelchair to the house of the victim. Okay. So, how was I able to know the house of the victim? The girlfriend, or maybe the live-in partner of that victim, got my contact number, and we were able to meet. And she brought me to the house of the victim, and we talked there. And I was able to see their condition. And I told them that I will help them. Okay, but it doesn't mean that I violated the traffic law or whatever, because I was not the driver, and besides, it was the motorcycle driver who bumped us, not my my car, which is only a very simple car, a Mitsubishi Ano ba yun? Okay. Car that bumped, it was not my car which bumped that motorcycle. It was the motorcycle who bumped us. Now, the problem was when I told the name is Pedro Sevilla, when I told him that you just give me your bank account number so that I can give you the money, help, no? It's a help. Every time I have enough, no? And he did not. And I even texted him. The problem, he did not answer. Then when I was in Manila, DXDC called me up. You know what is DXDC? That's the media in Davao City. It called me up, telling me, nagrereklamo ito si Pedro Sevilla against you. Sabi ko, bakit siya nagrereklamo? Kasi ma'am, hindi mo daw tinupad ang kasunduan. Sabi ko, paano ko tutuparin na sabi ko sa kanya, tinext ko siya, i-text niya sa akin yung account number niya. Kasi ang pangalan niya, Pedro Sevilla, maraming very general name ang pangalan niya. Tapos, ang sagot niya sa akin, nag-text man ako sa kanya na ibigay niya ang number ng bank account niya. And then, ang sagot naman ng DXDC, ma'am, sabi sa'yo pa, nalain siya sa imo. Ibig sabihin, naibahan daw si Sevilla sa akin. Sa salitang, sa text ko daw na, sa kaya ko lang. Kasi nag-text ako sa kanya, padadalhan kita ng pera, sa kaya ko lang. Bakit? Kasi help nga eh. Di ba kapag ako may kasalanan, let's say, sinasabi ko, hindi ko kasalanan. Kung sabi niya kasalanan ko, i-prove niya na kasalanan ko. Ang nangyari, gusto niya na singil-singil, hingi-hingi, na ang akin naman is tutulong ako, pero sa kaya ko lang, masama ba yun? So nung nalaman, kasi ang ginawa ko, sinabihan ko yung DXDC, sandali lang, I will forward to you my text kay Sevilla para maintindihan mo. So nung finorward ko sa DXDC yung text ko kay Sevilla, naintindihan niya, and then kinausap niya si Sevilla. Pinaliwanag niya na hindi mali yung tinext sa'yo ni Judge. Ang sabi siya, tutulungan ka, pero ipadadala ko yung pera doon sa account mo, sa kaya ko lang. Hindi naman masama yung sa kaya ko lang. Pagtulong talaga, sa kaya mo lang.
Okay, I will just give you one more statement that you may want to comment on so that, because I
Pwede
think...
mag-inom ng tubig ito.
Go ahead. So it states here, and I quote, but Sevilla revealed that the driver left the accident scene and went straight to the police station to personally file the police report rather than an investigator going to the scene. The police report also has discrepancies and noted different damages than the actual motorcycle damage. Well, first question, did you assist? I mean, given that, the motorcycle driver had fallen and had broken his leg, did your driver or you offer any assistance?
What do you mean by that?
Because in fact, there's a photo here of the driver, of the motorcycle driver fallen. Did you offer any assistance at that point, or you just, you sped off?
No, ganito yun. Because I was on my way to attend the seminar.
So,
and andun na yung investigator. I was inside yung car ko. I was inside. Sa totoo lang ganito nangyari. Gusto niyo malaman ang lahat? Gusto niyo malaman ang lahat? Ibubulgar ko lahat. Ganito nangyari, no? Nung magkaroon ng banggaan, kasi ang sasakyan ko, simple lang po na adventure. Hindi po siya yung automatic na pipindutin mo mag-close, ganon. Kailangan pindot-pindot talaga. Ganon lang, kasimple. Ngayon, nung bumaba yung driver kasi tiningnan niya yung na-aksidente. Ako nasa loob kasi dalawa lang kami, nasa likod ako. And then dahil bukas nga po, yung babaeng kasama niya, yung nakasakay sa likod na hindi naman na pumasok bigla doon sa aking sasakyan. Hindi man lang nagpaalam, basta umupo lang siya doon sa harap ko, pinabayaan ko lang. Hindi ako nagsabi, "Hoy, Judge, ako wala." Hindi ako nagpakilala na sino ako. Basta umupo siya doon sa harap. Tapos nag-text siya. Ako naman din, kumbaga pa sa likod kasi, yung, di ba may space na ganun, doon ako sa gitna, nakaupo, pero sa likod. Nagte-text din ako sa mga kasamahan ko. Tinext ko na, malilate ako dahil nabangga kami, ganon. And then bigla niyang kinuha yung aking cellphone at sabi niya sa akin, kailangan daw niya kasi may tatawagan siya. Pero hindi ko pa rin siya pinagalitan o ano. Inisip ko, bakit hindi siya nagrespeto na mas matanda ako sa kanya? Sabi na lang natin, hindi na ako kilala na judge ako. Hindi ako nagpakilala na judge ako. Sa totoo lang ganyan nangyari. And then, siyempre, natid ako sa seminar ko kasi malalate na ako. Hindi ko sinamahan ang driver kung saan-saan. Ano yung nakalagay dyan? Hindi totoo yan. Basta ang driver, dinala man yung driver, dinala siguro ng pulis, hindi ko na alam yan. Basta ang alam ko, yung gabi na yon tinawag ko ang aking pamangkin. Kasi yung aking driver, kumbaga pa, nandun sa police station, hindi man siya palalabasin. Ganun yun eh. So, ang ginawa ko, sino magdadrive sa akin? So, yung aking pamangkin, ang pinapunta ko doon sa kung saan kami nag-seminar para sunduin ako. At yun, dumaan kami sa police station and andun naman yung kapatid noong nabangga and then dinala kami doon sa ospital. Doon sa Davao, yung sa public na hospital. And doon, nakilala ko sila and then yun nga, tinulungan ko, naglabas po ako ng 5,000 doon. Doon sa babae ko nilabas. Pero sa harap noong nagko-compute ng magkano babayaran. That's what happened. And then, nung malaman ko na 4,000 something lang daw mabayaran, binigyan ko siya ng 5,000, tinurn over naman niya. After that, yun na nga, yung wheelchair na hiniram ko sa prayer house, hinatid ko po sa bahay nila. Yun ang pangalawa. And then yung usapan namin, ibigay mo sa akin yung account number mo sa bangko para padadalhan kita. And then hindi naman niya ginawa. That's why tinext ko siya. And then tinext ko nga siya na sabi ko, sa makaya ko lang. Nainis pala siya sa word na sa makaya ko lang.
So thank you, Judge. So I guess you have been given sufficient time to explain your side. So just to wind up my questions. So first, you are not really serious about being considered for the position of Chief Justice.
Pinaghirapan ko na po. Nandito na ako. Nagpa-interview pa sa inyo. Siyempre, pwede na po.
Okay.
Di ba? Sayang naman yung effort ko.
Sige, okay, Judge. Sige po, that was my last question. Good luck po, Judge.
Hindi naman, porque sinabi ko kanina, ayoko na. Oy, kung ayoko na, nagawa na lang ako ng waiver. Nandito na ako eh.
Okay, salamat po, Judge, and good luck po.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Gordon.
Miss Mila, let me now go to our good friend Judge Toribio Ilaw.
Thank you, Senator Gordon. Yes, good afternoon, Judge. So you are really certain to be applying as Chief Justice now because of your effort?
Yes. Andiyan na eh.
So you are very sure, not an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, but rather a Chief Justice.
Kasi alam niyo po, to tell you the truth, no, sa aking application letter nakalagay, I am applying for the position of Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Vice Honorable Chief Justice Sereno. Yun ang nakalagay. Kasi I was thinking, di ba si Sereno noon, naging Associate Justice man siya bago naging Chief Justice. Okay? So, hindi ko alam na dito pala sa Supreme Court iba. Ina-applyan pala yung pagiging Chief Justice. Akala ko, ina-appoint lang po yung Chief Justice. Katulad dun sa lower court, ang executive judge ina-appoint. Kung ano yung performance mo.
So,
Ako, nirespeto ko po yung mga kasamahan natin. Under naman ako sa Supreme Court eh.
so hoping that you're going to be appointed by the President being from Davao?
Alam niyo po si Presidente, patas na tao yan. Hindi
Patas.
porke taga Davao ka, ikaw pipiliin niya.
Ganun po ba? So you are really sure that...
For your information, nung ako po nag-apply, pagka-judge, sa totoo lang po, year 2000 ako nag-apply. Na-interview ako ng 2007, pero na-appoint ako 2008. Ilang years po ako naghintay para maging judge. Wala po akong nilapitan na politiko. Maski nung time na yun, si Duterte is the mayor. Hindi ako, kasi iba yung judiciary, iba yung politics. Yun ang po ang akin. Ang aking sadya, bakit gusto ko mag-apply dito sa Supreme Court? Para yung natutuhan ko dito sa baba, sa RTC, malalaman ng Supreme Court at maraming mababago, mga reformation. Sa totoo lang, magaling talaga yung JDR proceedings na, palagay ko si Justice Abad yun, ano? Siya ba? Hindi ko na ma-remember. Mahusay yung proceedings na yan. Maraming natatapos agad-agad na kaso. But I have my own proceedings na ginaganap ko. Actually, mismo ang judge ng Baganga, Regional Trial Court ng Baganga ngayon, si Judge Maglana, siya ang nagsabi during my birthday. Actually, hindi ko naman siya kilala, pero inimbita ko siya kasi nga, naging acting judge ako ng Baganga nung araw. And then siya ang nagsabi, during my birthday, sinabi niya na, during that time, wala pa yung JDR na yan, pero si Judge Tejano ang nag-JDR na siya doon sa Baganga. Kaya maraming kaso na...
Okay. Balik po tayo sa ating pong studio. Kasama si Attorney Maris. Attorney, hello.
Hi. Nakikinig ako, maganda.
Yan po si Judge Virginia Tejano ang huling aplikante, no, ng pagka-Chief Justice. Taga Davao. Okay. Sige, pansamantala po natin puputulin nating special coverage upang bigyan daan ang Lotto Draw. Kami po'y magbabalik. PDP Special Coverage selecting the next Chief Justice with Attorney Maris Manalo here.
Justice Peralta sa'yo, yung JDR. Kayo palang original niyan.
Sino po?
Justice Peralta. Yung mga gano'n.
Si Peralta ba?
Hindi pa, wala pa palang JDR na ginagawa niya na pala sa Davao.
Nag-JDR na po. Pero wala pang ganung pangalan ng JDR.
Okay po. Sige. Could you convince this council why you should be chosen over other applicants with years of experience in the Supreme Court?
Ganito po yun, no? Lahat naman tayo pare-pareho abogado, no? And then, sa experience naman, galing ako sa baba, pero, iba yung sa Supreme Court, iba sa RTC. Sa RTC po, lahat ng problema, amin. Isa lang po kami doon. 'Di ba? And then, yung mga kaso doon, kami lang ang magsosolve. Whereas, dito sa Court of Appeal, sa Supreme Court, merong mga justices, 'di ba, by by group nag-resolve. Sa amin po, kami lang po doon. So, because of that, ang mga problema po, kami ang kami ang nag-solve, no? Sometimes po may mga procedures tayo and then nagkakaroon ng conflict sa baba dahil nga pag yung mga judges daw hindi sumusunod sa procedure. Ano ba importante? Ang procedure o ang hustisya? Sa akin, hustisya ang importante. Ipaglalaban ko talagang hustisya. Yun po ang akin. Kaya nga, kung gusto natin mapadali ang mga kaso, pinakamaganda po na approach, yung pong clarificatory conference na ginagawa. Okay. Yun ang ginagawa ko.
Salamat po. At yung experience nyo, no? Dito sa application nyo, sinabi nyo, with the experience and personal qualities I possess as a person and as an officer of the court, I am confident that I will be able to perform the functions of the position I am applying for. Ano po yung personal qualities na sinasabi niyo na ito?
Personal qualities po, yung pagiging honest, truthful, faithful. Yun po importante.
Honest, faithful.
Truthful.
Truthful. Sorry. And you stated in your application documents that your trial work focused on indigent clients.
Ano yun?
Indigent clients po, sabi niyo, hindi ba?
Indigent clients. No, during the time when I was still in the private practice, ako po yung tinatawag nila PAW lawyer na walang sweldo. Kasi po yung mga farmers, yung mga fishermen, yung mga natives, mga lumads, tinutulungan ko sila, lumalapit sila sa akin. Hindi ako nagpapabayad. Wala pong, maski yung sinasabi ng contingency fees, wala po ako niyan. Ako pong tumutulong sa kanila.
Hoy,
At saka yung mga urban poor.
Bakit naman po nagkaroon kayo ng 17 million?
Alin yun? Sa mga properties ko yan?
O biro nyo, sabi nyo, pro bono, walang konsiderasyon. Is this for fee or free?
Alin po?
Yung sinasabi nyo, servisyo nyo.
Libre po yun.
Libre.
Kasi may lupa naman ako sa Samal along the beach. So nakilala ko ng mga fishermen. So sabi nila, lawyer yung katabi natin, lapitan natin. That's why nilapitan ako. Doon naman sa urban poor, dahil yung may kaibigan ako na secretary ng urban poor, ako naman ang ginawa nilang lawyer. Ganun lang.
Urban poor sa Agdao?
Hindi, sa Agdao po. Kasi it so happen, yung...
Agdao o hindi ka Agdao?
Hindi po. Agdao. Davao City po yon, Agdao.
Marami tayo dyan mga kaibigan, di ba? MPA.
Ano po?
Mga MPA.
Yung mga NPA, hindi po ako takot sa kanila kasi hindi naman sila wala naman silang hindi naman nila ako hinaharas eh.
So wala sa bundok ang MPA sa Davao? Nasa Agdao?
Wala na.
Wala na?
Wala na. Noon pa yun.
Noon pa.
Ang Agdao ngayon okay naman.
The JBC was castigated by no less than Justice Diosdado Peralta in the impeachment proceedings of the House Committee on Justice for considering RTC judges as applicants for the position of the presiding justice of the Court of Appeals. Now you are applying for an even higher position, the Supreme Court. What are you going to say to Justice Peralta?
Kanya-kanya po tayong opinion. No? So I will respect his opinion. I hope he will also respect mine. Ganun lang po yun.
Yun nga, Court of Appeals pa lang. Okay lang kayo mag-a-apply just in case na hindi kayo maging Chief Justice na Supreme Court. Mag-apply ng Court of Appeals.
Hindi po na. Talagang Supreme Court pong aking plano.
Supreme Court. Talagang
Kasi sa Supreme Court, dito lahat eh. Lahat ng mga procedure, mga reformation, yung mga procedures, dito talaga. Yun ang plano ko eh.
Paano naman yung mga urban form nyo? Dun sa yung
wala mang problema yan.
Wala na, yung mga lumad.
Marami na. Hindi. Yung time na yun pa ko, private practice pa ko nung araw na yun. Yung judge...
Hindi naman dadaplis. Ano ba yung maternal apelido nyo? Dumaplis?
Hindi, dumapyas po. Hindi
dumaplis. Ano ibig sabihin ng dumaplas?
Dumapyas. Taga Bohol po yan. Bohol Kamigin.
Ay, kababayan mo.
Bohol Kamigin. Bisaya.
Bisaya. Ano nga yung ibig sabihin ng dumapyas?
Ay, ewan ko. Hindi ko naman alam ang ibig sabihin.
Sa Tagalog, dumaplis. Meron, di ba? Okay. Ay, maraming pong salamat at basakali man ay good luck po.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Judge Ilaw, for shedding light into the proceedings, especially in Davao. Justice Mendoza, please.
Thank you very much, Senator Gordon. Judge Tejano Ang, we do not know you that well. What is your judicial philosophy?
Judicial philosophy po? Simple po. Ang binabasihan ko yung Article 19. Article 19 ng Civil Code. Every person must, in the exercise of his rights and in the performance of his duties, act with justice, give everyone his dues, and observe honesty and good faith. Yun lang po. No, yun ang importante. Yun ang basihan natin and magkakaroon talaga ng hustisya.
About, you have applied as a Supreme Court Justice, and actually you disclosed that you were surprised that you were applying as Supreme Court Justice, and not now that you are not withdrawing. Should you be appointed as Chief Justice? Will you be a judicial activist or a believer of judicial restraint?
What is that? A judicial
activist?
Activist or
a believer of judicial restraint?
Oh, I cannot understand judicial restraint. What do you mean by that?
You should know that. You are aspiring.
Because it is in your mind, no? Judicial activist? I will be an activist? Yes.
As a principle of judicial activism versus judicial restraint. Because you are aspiring as Chief Justice
No,
of the highest court.
the reason why I am aspiring for that is because of my experience in the lower courts. I want to let the Supreme Court know about all of those so that justice will really be served. Yun ang akin. Yun ang purpose ko. I will not be an activist. Kung makilala lang ninyo ako, pag-uugali ko, mapagpakumbaba akong tao, ang aking patakaran sa buhay, we have to be respectful, lalo na sa mga mas may edad sa atin, we have to be respectful. And we should be truthful and honest. Yun ang importante. And of course, we must be helpful, yung mga taong nangangailangan. And be disciplinarian also, para walang mga taong gagawa ng masama. Yun po ang maganda.
That will be all, Senator.
Thank you very much, Justice Mendoza. Quite frankly, I'm mixed here. I have mixed emotions here.
You are?
I have mixed emotions here. I like the fact that the judge comes from one of our far and distant provinces, and she comes over here and applies for the highest position in the judiciary. That takes spunk and gumption, and we're not here to mock you. We want to encourage people who think that they have the capability, so we can select the best of the best for the position of justice. So thank you very much for doing that. On the other hand, we also have a duty here to make sure that we are able to choose, as I said, the best and the brightest. And therefore, I am constrained to ask you a few questions that I think we should be able to answer. From your experience in the judiciary, I suppose you can bring that experience of the slow process of justice, especially for the common tao who has to look for a lawyer, or for that matter, when he gets a lawyer, he or she may not be able to afford one, so the person concerned would not have perhaps the best representation. Is that your experience?
Yes, there's an experience wherein a party has no lawyer, and I refer them to the PAO. But
no, that's not my question, because we all know there is a PAO. What I'm saying is, because some of our people are extremely poor, are they getting the best representation, even from PAO? I'll go ahead to go to PAO. I mean, does PAO lawyers are well paid now?
Puno na sila. Maraming cases silang handle.
Excuse me?
They have many cases. Also, the PAO lawyers have many cases.
Well,
So-
nobody
clogged.
pointed a gun at the head of a PAO, just in the same manner. Nobody points a gun at the head of the policeman, but everybody says, we want to serve. Diba? That's the favorite answer of anybody who goes into a position like that. I ask any cop and I had long experience as a mayor, and they'll always say, I want to be a policeman to serve my country. You want to be a judge because you want to serve your country.
Yes.
But I'm asking you from your experience, and I want to draw from your experience. I may not vote for you because I think that not because of where you come from, but it's a question of who's got the best in terms of capability, in terms of experience. And I just want to ask, and I could still be convinced that you have the best experience among all the justices who have also been judges like you, albeit in an urban area. But you are one who comes from Davao, Tagum, di ba? Or is it Tagum?
I'm a resident of Davao City, but I was appointed in Tagum.
Yeah, you're in that Tagum.
Tagum, Davao del
And the
Norte.
cases that you always handle are agrarian cases? Do you have people who lose their land?
Different cases.
There is a lot of land grabbing in
Yes.
Mindanao.
Yes.
And a lot of poor people are exploited, and there are people who are given the lash of injustice. People are killed, and they're looking for justice. Is that the kind of things that you handle?
Yes.
And what can you say about that? Is the judiciary adequate or up to speed in terms of making sure that justice is given to them? You have a caseload of 684,
Yes.
and you have reduced that from a caseload of 1,200, is it? Is that correct, Nita?
Check lang.
Because from my understanding, you were able to reduce your caseload dramatically. Is that correct?
Yes. Kasi marami po ako nasa-settle. Yung JDR.
In an acting capacity.
Yes.
Well, whether you're acting or actually full-time, the point is, by way of your skill, you were able to mediate, you were able to get compromises, you were
Yes.
able to get the parties to see their way clear and not spending the time of the court. And the best solution is not to go to court, solve it out of court. That way, other matters that would require more speedy justice would get the attention of the court. Would that be your philosophy?
Yes. Speedy justice.
Speedy justice.
Yes.
Speedy justice.
There's a way of
Therefore,
doing
pagka
things.
may criminal, barilin na lang natin. Speedy justice. You agree with that?
Yung meron na tayong continuous trial ngayon.
Excuse me, sir? Ma'am?
We already have a continuous trial.
No,
Continuous
this is not
trial.
what I said. When you say speedy justice, people have different notions of that. A lot of people are beginning to think that a drug pusher here in this country, let's say, who brings in, I've had people to come to me, and after I investigated the heavy load of drugs that came into the customs, and I really went out after them, and now all of a sudden another one. And now the champion of the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao, wants to get the death penalty imposed especially for people who bring in drugs like that. I am against the death penalty. But
I understand.
And then I feel that, but right now more and more people are taking the law into their own hands.
You know, when I talk about speedy justice, I have experience, I achieve my goals. Let's say there's a case. I call for a clarificatory conference.
No, I'm not asking about the procedure.
Yes.
Speedy justice can take the form, as you say, you call a conference and put the parties together. Then if you can find their way clear in settling the matter, fine.
Yes.
But of course, there's no compromise in criminal cases, right?
No compromise?
Yes, in criminal cases.
Yes, there should be. What happened in criminal cases is this, If the parties would like to settle, what can we do? If the parties themselves wanted to settle, what can we do?
Criminal cases?
Yes, except the state. The state, let's say in criminal cases, they wanted to settle the civil aspect of the case. They wanted to settle.
Are you talking about the civil aspect? I'm talking about the criminal cases. That's why they call it people of the Philippines. It's no longer X person versus Why person? It's the people of the Philippines versus a particular individual.
Okay.
Right?
Siyempre, the state is the complainant, no? The state, the people of the Philippines. But the problem is, if the private complainant is no longer interested to pursue with the case, so he will no longer testify. So what will happen to the case?
What do you mean what will happen in the case?
So wala, madidismiss. Kasi no testimony from the private complainant.
And do you excoriate the police for not coming out with the right evidence?
What's that?
Do you extend yourself? If a policeman doesn't show up and he doesn't produce the evidence after he filed the case, he doesn't show up, he doesn't come up with evidence that is required, or in the case of drugs, as you were not here earlier, the case is dismissed because of that. Don't you raise your arms or your fist in anger and say, hey, we cannot do this because you are just encouraging people to commit more crime?
Yes, I understand that. You know,
I'm sure you do. But what do you do? I want to get. I'm sure you do. But what do you do? I want to get the benefit of your experience.
Yes.
That you want to bring to the court.
So what you are asking is about what? Kasi mahaba masyado ito.
No. I'm just trying to explain to you what I was asking. The benefit of your experience as a judge. Nakakakuha, I'll be simple. Nakukuha ba niya yung hustisya because adequate ba yung lawyer na binibigay ng PAO?
Nakakuha ng hustisya ang gobyerno.
In your cases, in your experience.
There are different cases, Your Honor. Marami iba-ibang kaso.
Yeah, but in your experience, you can more or less give me a point of view na sa karamihan ng mga tao may hirap, pag humarap doon, meron bang adequate? Ano ba, binaril yung kamag-anak niya?
Ganito.
Nagdidemanda siya. Right? Nagko-complain siya. Siyempre, dapat lumakad yung kaso. Hindi naman naglalakad yung... Hindi naman gumagalaw yung pulis. Walang ebidensyang ginagawa. Yun ba madalas mangyari yan?
Hindi naman po sa korte ko. Yung sinasabi mo na yung pulis hindi magdadala ng ebidensya.
I'm just trying to find out what it is on the ground because I'm sure many of the judges, including former Justice Jose Mendoza, and once a justice, always a justice, as far as I'm concerned, when they were judges, I'm sure they were exposed to this sort of thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I myself am a victim of injustice. I got to know all the secretaries of justice because my father was assassinated. Not just 3 attempts on his life. And that's why I became a lawyer. And so I go to every justice of the Department of Justice Secretary. I go to the NBI. I don't give up. And for a poor person in the countryside, what are his recourses? Kung hindi magaling yung judge, kung hindi mabagsik yung judge sa police, oy, bakit hindi nyo ginagamit yan? Hindi nyo inaayos yan? In other words, you have to extend yourself.
The judge can issue an order to the policeman to do the things that he must do. Pwede mo yung gawin yan.
But supposing he doesn't appear?
Pwede mo siya i-contempt.
Have you done that?
Wala pa, so far.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right.
Kasi ano naman, nag-appear naman po sila eh.
Okay.
Hindi naman sila hindi nag-appear.
I have no more questions, Your Honor. And I just want to thank you, ma'am. You may go with it.
Okay na po?
You're excused. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Tejano Ang.
Are you sure there are no more?
Okay. Mayong hapon na Judge Tejano Ang.
How do you say good luck sa mga Davao?
Good luck? Ayo, paano ba? Sige, mag-text nga kayo, paano ba? Good luck kay Judge Tejano Ang. Actually, si Judge Tejano Ang, ang huli pong contender sa pagiging punong maestrado ng ating Korte Suprema, ay isang RTC judge ng Tagum City. It's in Davao, right? Yes.
And,
Davao del Norte.
Kanina, actually, yung first question sa kanya ay, di ba nga, yung kung intended niya talaga mag-apply, dan sabi niya...
Yes, yung kalaunan.
Noong una, hindi muna. Pero after some time, after all this interview, syempre, pangatawanan niya yan. And pinakita naman niya yung kanyang honesty at ang pagiging, magalang sa ating sa panel ng interviewers.
So yung tanong ng judicial restraint na pag-usapan natin and judicial activism.
Yes.
Medyo nagkalito lang ang question and answer portion.
Kasi hindi lang sila nagkaintindihan. Alam mo yun, minsan if you're from Manila and ikaw taga Davao, minsan hindi tayo magkaintindihan.
Pero nagkaintindihan siya ni Judge at ni Attorney Fernan.
Yeah, parang Bisaya.
Hindi binisahin na lang sana ni Judge Tejano.
Eh di pa paano naman yung hindi naman nakakaintindihan ng Bisaya?
Can you translate niya uli ng English?
But no, the point is, lahat ng mga in-interview po ngayon, araw na ito po, tatlo po sa kanila ang pipiliin ng ating JBC at yung po ang isusumite sa ating presidente upang ang ating presidente po ay mamili sa tatlong ito. Okay?
So minimum of 3?
Yeah. Lima to, di ba? So sila yung in-interview, sila yung panel of, ito yung tawag na public interview. Na nagkakataon po ngayon, buti na lang, meron tayo, tinatelevise na niya. Kasi napapanood ng mga tao, di ba, ang dami mga texters, yung mga lawyer, yung mga law students.
Yung kukuha ng bar ngayong November.
Di ba? Nakikita nila, hi to them, nakikita nila kung paano, ganun pala yun, ganito pala magtanong. So, pag nag-a-apply ka ngayon bilang huwes o bilang, kung gusto mo maging punong maestrado ng Korte Suprema, ganito pala. Pag hindi ko pala dineclare yung mga, alam mo yun, yung mga slight, hindi porke under investigation, hindi mo i-declare. It has to be declared. Otherwise, i-check lahat ng JBC yan at hindi naman sa wawa, pero tatanungin ka about it and you're not supposed to, kasi pag nag-false testimony ka na, patay ka na. Patay ang credibility mo, di ba?
So, yun So, minimum of 3 ang pipiliin po dyan sa listahan yan, 5. Pwede naman sila. Magkakaroon sila ng botohan, no? 7 naman, ng miyembro ng JBC, ang quorum niyan, 4.
So, ang quorum is 4. Halimbawa, yung sa 4 na yon ang...
gusto nila 3 lang.
Hindi, talaga naman 3 isusumiti doon. Yung 3 na yon, pag sinumiti nila yon, doon mamimili ang presidente. Halimbawa, yung the first 3 o yung the last 3 o yung nasa gitna, doon mamimili po ang ating presidente.
Okay, 4 sila. Kung 4 ang pipiliin nila.
Actually,
kung tawag nito, makapag-decide sila na 4 or 3.
Ang importante po dito kaya may ganitong klaseng public interview is para makita ng mga manunuri kamukha nga ng JBC kung paano ang pagsagot. Kasi may mga...
Sagot, mayroon kasing terminolohiya sa pagiging abogado sa pagpapractice ng batas. May mga terminologies, mga legal terms, kung paano ka siguro sagutin ang mga tanong mula sa mga panel ng JBC. And yung alam mo sa batas, yun ang tawag niya, judicial restraint and judicial activism.
Kung paano mo sasagutin ang isang katanungan at kung paano makikita ang leadership mo. Tandaan po natin, ang pipiliin ngayon ay ang punong mahistrado ng Korte Suprema, di ba? Ng kataas-taas, ito po yung kataas-taas ang hukuman ng Pilipinas. So, sino ba ulit yung mga contenders dito, Aljo?
Si Justice
Lucas Bersamin. Yung una muna, number 1.
Si Justice Lucas Bersamin.
Okay, Justice Bersamin, taga-UE po si Justice Bersamin. So,
top-notcher ng bar.
Top-notcher. Maganda rin ang kanyang mga experience bilang miyembro ng judiciary hanggang sa naging hanggang sa naging Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. And ilang taon na ba si Justice Bersamin? So,
he is 68 years old.
68.
And retiring October of next year.
So next year. Tapos ito naman, then followed by Justice Teresita Leonardo de Castro. Si Justice de Castro naman po ay isang mula sa kababaihan, okay? At iron woman to. As in, talagang pag nagsalita to, makikinig ka at babaeng malakas at may paninindigan.
He's next in the seniority line. Actually, si Justice de Castro.
At ito, si Justice de Castro po ay, kung siya po ang mapipili bilang punong mahistrado ng ating Korte Suprema, siya po ay magsisilbi na lamang hanggang Oktubre nitong taong ito. So, 2 months na lang, something like that. August, September, October, tama. So, nasagot na niya yung reason kung bakit pwede pa rin siyang piliin despite of the fact na dalawang buwan na lang ilalagi niya, di ba? And then siya po ay mula sa University of the Philippines.
UP.
Yes.
UP College of Law.
Then, sumunod
Next, Associate Justice Diosdado Peralta.
Well, Justice Peralta, ito po ay isang Tomasian. Kung saan ang
UST.
inyong ang lingkod ay...
You're from UST also?
Yes,
Attorney,
UST Law. Justice Peralta is really known for, isa siyang dating piskal.
Piskal?
At naging huwes ng Quezon City. Professor namin sa Faculty of Civil Law, nagtuturo ng criminal law, hanggang sa na-appoint po siya bilang sa Sandigan Bayan, di ba? I think so. And then naging
fiscal din siya ng Lawag City,
yes.
1978, no?
From the ranks. Actually, Justice Peralta really, from the ranks siya, hanggang sa na-appoint siya bilang...
But he obtained his law degree at UP, tama ba?
No, sa ano yan? Sa UST. Tomasian
UST?
yan.
Okay,
Tomasian,
so
si
hindi
Justice
sa UP,
Peralta.
ha? Hindi sa UP.
Anyway, from from Gamma, yung Gamma ng
Okay.
aking ng UST.
Okay.
And then si Justice Peralta, marami ding mga controversial decisions ang kanya ginawa, like yung pagboto niya sa paglilibing sa dating Pangulong Marcos sa libingan ng mga bayani, ang pagboto niya bilang yung
upholding the martial law declaration in Mindanao.
Ano pa yung pagboto niya para dun sa co-warranto
ano ba, attorney o Justice Reno?
No, attorney, former na lang.
Former Justice?
Hindi, former CJ. We always have...
Kasi from the very beginning, di ba, void ab initio ang kanyang pagkakapili. Kasi co-warranto yun eh.
You have a point. Actually, yung dating, yung tinaguriang dating punong maestrado ng Korte Suprema.
Sige, former CJ na lang.
So, bumoto nga siya ng laban doon para matanggal nga siya. And then, ano pa ba yung mga controversial decisions niya?
Actually, the martial law, Arroyo's acquittal, plunder case, July 2016.
Okay.
That's Associate Justice Diosdado Peralta.
And Justice Peralta is really, kilala yan sa husgado, na bigla na lang siyang dadating sa courts, at pag titingnan niya yung mga judges, kayo ba, 8:30, nandito na kayo? Ang galing. As in, nagugulat silang bigla.
Bihasa siya sa criminal law. At lalo na natin, isa sa mga pinakamahirap na subject po sa law ay ang criminal law.
Oh, yeah.
Diba?
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
Ang sumunod pong sinalang dyan sa public interview, Associate Justice Andres Reyes Jr., Atenista.
Yes,
Ateneo de Manila University College of Law, 1978.
At naging presiding justice siya ng Court of Appeals. Okay. Maganda rin po ang track record ni Justice Andres Reyes Jr. At nakita mo yung kanyang pagsagot, mga malulumanay. Malumanay siya yung sa kanyang pagsagot. At tinanong din siya dun sa kanyang mga yung mga controversial kamukha rin ng mga naunang nabanggit, bumoto siya sa
he was the only Duterte appointee among justices contending for the post.
Pero ang kanyang pinakamagandang unang binotong decision na kung saan siya nag-concur is for inabot yung kay Justice Sereno, right?
Okay, Justice Sereno din.
Yung co-warrant against
That's
CJ
Associate
Sereno.
Justice Andres Reyes Jr. Alam mo, lahat po ng in-interview dito mga kaibigan, mga igsoon, na kinonfine po sa isilang kwarto. So hindi nila maririnig kung ano yung mga tanong coming from the panel.
Yeah, there's another question pala, yung pinaka-funny. Bakit daw yung nakalagay kung married or kung sino yung asawa nitong kay Justice
Reyes.
Nakalagay is NA.
Ano ba yung NA?
Not applicable because annulled na nga naman yung previous marriage niya. Well, yun yung to make the the interview light and that. Then afterwards, yung pinakahuli nga po ay si Judge Virginia Tejano ang mula po sa Regional Trial Court Branch 1 ng Tagum City.
Yan.
Okay.
So I would like to clear out things. Pag Tagum City, sa akin kasi, hindi probinsya, ha? It's a city outside Metro Manila. Tanggalin ko lang yung notion kasi pag sinasabing taga Davao, probinsya, no. Davao is a city, no? It's just like Pasig City, it's just like Tagaytay City. Anyway,
Well, si Judge Tejano Ang, siya po, nakita naman natin sa kanya interview, kung yung napanood, very naman siya, yung very candid sa kanyang mga sagot. At ang sabi nga niya, actually yung kanyang application ay hindi naman yung una hindi naman para sa pagkapunong mahistrado ng Korte Suprema. It's just that nagkataon na that's the only
vacant position.
Kaya po kinuha niya. But anyway, tinanong ulit siya ni Attorney Fernand.
Yeah, Attorney Fernand,
sabi niya,
unang nagtanong.
Yeah, so ibig mo sabihin na binabawi mo na or hindi na po. Kasi nandito na, in-interview niyo na ako. Then she was interviewed also tungkol doon sa mga cases na nasampa laban sa kanya, yung mga administrative. However, hindi niya dineclare sa kanyang resume or personal PDS. So, ang point niya is, kasi hindi naman siya naging administrative case, but it's only an investigative, for investigation pa. Yun po kinaklaro natin. Doon po sa mga mag-a-apply sa pagkahuwes at yung mga nag-fill up din ng PDS, hindi po, pag sinanong doon na kung ikaw, kung na-filean ka na ba ng kaso, whether ito po administrative or still under for investigation, you have to declare it. Kasi para mawala ng issue. And then, so forth, marami pang katanungan sa kanya. Sabi kung pwedeng kung hindi ka man ma-appoint dito sa Korte Suprema bilang punong mahistrado nito, baka gusto mo sa Court of Appeal. Sabi niya, no, hanggang doon talaga sa Supreme Court kasi yun ang kanyang point. Gusto niya sa Supreme Court para mailabas daw niya yung makatulong siya sa mga reforms ng mga rules ng Supreme Court dahil ang base niya dito dun sa experiences niya bilang, di ba? Bilang judge ng Tagum City.
Nasilip din kanyang ari-arian sa Samal worth millions and millions kasi more than 1 million eh.
17
sa Samal Island kasi maraming beach resorts diyan sa Samal. Nakapunta ka na ba sa Samal?
Hindi pa.
Oy, pumunta ka dun sa Samal, ha? Kasi pag sa city ka lang, ngayon pa lang, oy, happy kadayawan sa Davao. Season ngayon ng durian. Harvest season ng durian ngayon. So, ang kilo yata ng durian sa Davao ngayon, parang 40 to 50 pesos o mas mababa pa. Pupunta ka ng Kalinan. Wow, ang sarap.
Ang yayaman pala ng mga taga-Tagum. Isipin mo, may 70, di ba?
Di ba? Sabi nga niya, may negosyo sila. No,
sa bagay. So, ito po
yung tinanong din. Kasi nasa salen. Lumabas eh. Lumabas sa record. Kasi bago kay sarang dyan, siyempre, hihimayin ka. Sino ka ba?
Kaya nga dapat yan, i-declare mo. Ngayon, pag meron ka hindi dineclare, hanapin nila yan. Hindi mo pwede, hindi mo kayo makakalusot. So ito, this is also parang information for everyone. Like, kung yung mga nag-PPDS, personal data sheet, di ba? Ikaw bilang nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, ni-fill upan nyo yan. Hindi ka pwede magsinungaling dyan. Lalo pag sa, bilang miyembro ng judiciary, hanapin nyo ng JBC. At malalaman yan. Minsan magugulat ka pa, may ganun pala akong kaso. Diba?
Kahit na yung mga ari-arian mong binenta o kaya ipinangalan mo lang sa, kunwari lang sa kapatid mo. Matitrace pa rin yan.
Matitrace nila yun. So,
may mga sale na ganun.
Kung ayaw nyo ng ganung klaseng sitwasyon, you just stick with the private sector.
Kung maghuhubarang ka talaga riyan.
Kasi bakit? Kasi kailangan mong maging honest. Hindi ka nang pinagbabawalan. Ang gusto lang nila is dapat i-declare mo. Go back to the Sireno Doctrine again. Kasi hindi mo dineclare eh. Kasi pag hindi mo dineclare, the presumption is you're to hiding it.
Halimbawa lang, ilagay ko yung pera ko sa ilalim ng kama ko.
Pera mo pa rin yun.
Hindi, matitrace ba yan? Wala ka namang transaction sa bangko.
That's very questionable.
Diba? Pwede ba
that is very questionable. Kasi paano ka nagkaroon ng ganitong malahat po yan. Makikita yan ng mga abogado. Tandaan yung mga nag-i-interview, mga abogado.
May mga sumusubaybay din siguro sa'yo, no? Ito, may kotse yan. May bahay yan. May kondo, ganon.
Hindi, meron tinanong kay Justice Reyes tungkol dito sa, panukala pa lang ito sa IBP, na yung kung ikaw ang magiging punong maestrado ng Korte Suprema, papayagan mo ba na yung panukala na pag merong kaso, may mga pending cases for disbarment against lawyers, kailangan sila ay masuspend pending litigation.
Pending litigation.
Ibig sabihin, they cannot practice law during the litigation of the case.
Sa tingin mo, okay. Sa tingin mo niya. Anong stand mo dyan, attorney?
Hindi. I will not agree on that. Bakit? Kasi po ang pagiging bread and butter to ng mga abogado. Hindi lahat ng kaso ay talagang meritorious. Karamihan po, 80% mga ano yan, mga harassment. Meron naman talagang meritorious. However, yung disposal ng kaso, sometimes it's taking time. Paano kung abutin ng 2-3 taon na nakapending yung kaso, tinanggalan mo ng hanap buhay ang kapwa mo abogado? O, diba?
Who questioned that? Who asked that question?
Hindi,
Attorney Fern?
Attorney Ilaw, I think, or Justice Mendoza.
Judge Ilaw?
Anyway,
sa dalawa lang.
Justice
Anyway,
Mendoza.
okay.
Parang, yun ang tinatanong nila eh. Ngayon ang sabi ni Justice Reyes doon, parang ikinwalify niya. Siguro ko ang kaso nito droga or falsification or mga baka pwede. Well, we respect them. Yun ang position ng ating Associate Justice, ng ating si Justice Reyes. However, kamukha nga, since kung sabi ko parang, kasi hindi kasi dahil kawawa yung mga masususpend during litigation of the disbarment case. Kasi it's taking time. And during that period, kawawa sila dahil wala sila magiging... Paano kung ang source lang nila is being a lawyer? Like, yung going to court, ganyan. Syempre, kung suspended ka pending litigation, di wala ka pang paano kita. I think it's not applicable for us lawyers. I do support you with that, Attorney.
And,
why are these things being asked from the, kung sino man yung susunod na punong maestrado? Kasi yan ang sangay kami under kami ng ng Supreme Court ang IBP.
So ang IBP do ka magreklamo kung gusto mong ireklamo para madisiplina ang isang abogado, and ang magdidesisyon yan yung Court Suprema.
Yeah, actually ganito po, kung meron yung mga disbarment cases
disbarment
ko,
case. I'm talking about disbarment case.
Sa IBP. Ngayon, kung ang decision ng IBP dyan ay dismissal, wala na yon. Okay na yon. Kumbaga, pero pinapadala ng copy ang Supreme Court. Subalit kung ang decision po ng IBP is tawag dito yung based on investigation, ang recommendation nila is disciplinary measures like suspension, disbarment, ipino-forward po yan sa Supreme Court, at sa Supreme Court sila ang mag-i-impose ng decision yan.
Okay.
Sila ang i-review nila ulit yan para kung i-impose man yung decision. Ngayon kung dismissal naman, sabi ko nga pinapadalan sila ng kopya. Ngayon, kung aapila naman yung complainant, that would be the time, tsaka re-reviewin nyo ng Korte Suprema.
Andun yung mediation, reconciliation, yan yung may ADR, Alternative
JDR.
Dispute. Kanina napag-usapan yung Alternative Dispute Resolution. It's a resolution outside court. Yung JDR, ganun din. In front of the judge.
Hindi, actually po, yung sinasabi...
Kasi meron din tayong barangay conciliation.
Meron barangay conciliation. Ito po yung mga reforma, no? Reforma. Kasi
para mapabilis ang paglilitis ng kaso.
May barangay mediation, yan yung bago muna kayo sumampa sa husgado, imimediate muna kayo.
Mandatory yan, hindi po ba?
Yan. Depende sa amin. May mga cases under. Ngayon, kung hindi naman wala mangyari, maybe a certificate of file action, then you go to court.
Yes.
Ngayon, pag sa husgado, bago pag mag-trial, magkakaroon muna ng mediation, imimediate muna yung mga parties, ilang settings yan. Itatry talaga, i-explore lahat ng remedies kung pwede kayong mag-ayos. Kasi alam mo yun, mas mahirap po ang may kaso. Kasi I always advise that my clients, magastos ang magkaso. Mahirap ang may kaso. So hangga't maaari, if you can settle the matter. Ngayon, kung wala pa rin mangyari sa mediation, then the JDR. Ibig sabihin, yung partido, tatawagin ng huwes, ito yung huwes, nandiyan sila, pag-uusapin silang maayos sa chamber. O i-explore talaga yung all the remedies na gano'n. Kasi hihilutin, ito okay ba sa'yo to? Okay ba sa'yo to?
So hindi usad ang kaso, papasok sa korte? Hindi.
Dyan lang muna. Mag-usap muna kayo. Mga ilang setting. Ngayon, kung ayaw pa rin nila, sabi ng judge, nag-fail pa rin yung JDR, ibabato ng judge yung kaso sa
Fiscal.
Sa record section ulit para i-raffle, para mapunta sa ibang huwes. Doon, trial na sila.
Trial na. Yan.
Yung sinasabi ni Judge Tejano Ang naman, nakatulong daw ng malaki itong JDR. Well, that's the purpose of mediation and JDR. Para nga mapabilis ang mga pag-disposition ng kaso at parang, makatanggal yan sa backlog ng mga cases.
So, napag-usapan din siyempre yung decision dapat based on existing laws, dapat sa mga batas na nakalatag po sa ating pong saligang batas. Meron po tayong napakaraming batas sa Family Code, may Revised Penal Code, and the distinguish against judicial activism rulings suspected based on personal political considerations rather than existing law. So, nasusukat po doon kung hanggang saan, no, ang kakayahan ng mga susunod na Chief Justice na ihihirang po dyan sa Korte Suprema.
Don't you know that this co-warranto case actually parang, for me, it's a judicial activism.
Kasi
Why?
the only, kasi narinig ko dati.
Under the law, okay. Under the general rule is, the general rule is, it's only by impeachment kung saan ang mga maestrado ng Korte Suprema ay matatanggal sa kanilang posisyon bilang
impeachable officers, no?
Okay, bilang
Presidente, Vice President, Chief Justice.
This co-warranto proceedings, this co-warranto na to, questioning, di ba, yung kanyang qualification, and definitely, babalik mo sa pinakauna, at doon siya natanggal, is a judicial activism. But, even though it's a judicial activism, it is backed by law. Ang Korte Suprema, Aljo, alam mo, when I was still in the law school, pag binabasa ko yung kanilang decision, talagang, yung ang galing nila yung, kaya nga ang mga ano yan kumbaga, parang mga Diyos, I'm sorry, yung ninandating sa kanila, yung parang ang gagaling talaga nila mag-pen ng decision. Alam nila kung paano nila, kung yung justice makikita mo, kung paano masaserve. Tapos yung technicalities ng rules, makikita mo kung paano nila gagamitin yon in order to serve justice. Kaya ang pagpili po ng mga maestrado ng Korte Suprema, hanggang down the line, ganun siya katindi. Lalo na ang pagkapunong maestrado ng Korte Suprema.
And I would like to go back to that provision sa co-warranto, only the sole gen, no? Kapag ang kukwestiyonin mo ay nakaupong impeachable officer. The Solicitor General can only file the petition of co-warranto. Now, kung ikaw naman ay private individual, dapat meron kang karapatan doon sa posisyon. Tama ba?
Diba?
Parang ikaw dapat ang nakaupo riyan.
Yes, kasi parang wala
hindi ka nadadaan sa Solgen.
Kumbaga, wala kang interest doon sa kasong ito.
Wala kang karapatan.
Yes, you're not a person of interest to question the position. Well, siguro din, malay mo, judicial activism. Well, I'm a taxpayer. Diba? I'm a taxpayer. I can file this case as a taxpayer. And,
okay. Attorney, sandali lang ha. Puntaan muna natin si Pauline Requesto with Senator Gordon.
My favorite senator.
Pauline, hello.
Aljo.
Go ahead, Pauline.
Aljo, kasama natin ngayon si Senator Richard Gordon na miyembro ng JBC panel na kumilatis sa limang Chief Justice aspirants. Senator Gordon, ano po kumusta po yung naging proceeding natin, yung ating public interview sa limang Chief Justice aspirants?
I think we can say na yung mga justices na nag-aspire, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, they have the capability. Ang tinatanong ko lang talaga anong gagawin mo kung ang sitwasyon yung mga prinsipyo ng legal principles o yung mga philosophy na dapat ipagtanggol ng bayan. Ikaw ba titiklop ka? Ikaw ba susunod ka sa mga kasama mo kahit na alam mo medyo tagilid? Hindi porque yung right is not flexible. Kailangan right hindi mo sinusunod halimbawa sa panahon. Right is right at all times. So I'm pretty satisfied. They're a good bunch. Lahat sila okay. Lahat yung pwede maging Chief Justice.
So there were numerous instances na kinwestiyon yung SALN nung mga justices and how important is it that we actually scrutinize this SALN considering that we had the experience with Chief Justice Sereno?
Yun ang tinatawag kong reaction. Pagka may nangyaring gano'n kay Corona, may nangyaring gano'n kay kaya nilinaw ko, di ba? Ano ba nagpatalsik kay Sereno? Yung bang SALN? Hindi. Yung continuous ayaw niyang aminin na hindi siya nagpa-file ng SALN. So, hindi na SALN yun. Yung bang, it goes into character, it goes into moral character na yun. So, yun ang pinapaliwanag ko sa tao. Pero sa akin, importante yung SALN, pero umisan, magkakamali ka. Tulad yung hindi ka nakitang namana mo. So, to my mind, ang importante sa akin, makuha natin the best and the brightest. Kumisan yung SALN, nakakadiskurahe yan. Katulad ka na sinabi ko, ayaw magturo sa UP Law School ng iba dahil pag nagturo ka doon, may SALN. paano? Magaling kang abogado, tuturo ka doon. Nadideprive mo ngayon yung mga tao dahil ayaw magturo. Dahil baka sakali, pag na-appoint ka sa bataas na tungkulin, nagkamali ka doon sa salin mo, kahiya-hiya ka pa. So ang hinahabol ko, makapasok talaga yung magagaling sa ating bayan.
Sir, nagdagdag ba tayo ng requirement or additional layer safeguards para hindi maulit yung nangyari kay dun sa SALN na issue with the Chief Justice?
Ngayon talagang may waiver. Pwedeng pasukin yung mga bank nila, pwedeng pumasok sa mga bangko sa abroad, meron ganon. Yun ay nararapat lang. It goes into character again, into moral character.
Sir, ano ba yung parang pinaka-hinahanap natin to be the next Chief Justice? Ano yung main qualification na hinahanap natin?
Well, easily, sinasabi naman niya, basta abogado ka at meron kang 15-year experience, Sabi naman, tama na yan. No, kailangan may proven integrity ka. Mahusay ang karakter mo. Wala kang record na masama. Yung sinasabi kanina, may mga kaso ka. Meron kang 4 na kaso, 5 kaso. Abay, ako nag-mayor Ang dami kong kaso, nag-SBMA ako, pero wala namang pumasok dahil kumisan, pag ginagawa mo ang trabaho mo, meron kang makakalaban, di ba? Meron magdidemanda sa'yo. Sa akin, hindi ko masyadong tinigin. Hindi nyo napansin, hindi ako nagtanong doon sa kasalan. Ang tinatanong ko, yung goes into character, into habit, into experience, into judgment. Meron bang judgment itong uupo na ito? Ang magaling na Korte Suprema, meron siyang spine na nag-argue kayo doon, paninindigan mo yung tama at hindi flexible yung tama. Kung anong tama, yun ang tama. At marunong ka ngayon, magdiplomasya sa mga kasama mo. Hindi ka magpapatigas para mag-away kayo. Magpapatigas ka, pero kukonciliate mo yung mga tao. Mahirap gawin yan. Pero I find that some of them really had that capability.
So talagang tinitingnan natin, sir, yung integrity ng next Chief Justice.
At saka yung magaling. Katulad na rin ba ni Justice De Castro? Sabi niya ba, 2 months na lang siya. Doesn't matter. You go into the whole gamut ng 47 years ata siya or experience siya sa Supreme Court. At pag umupo siya dyan, parang walang araw. Tuloy-tuloy na yan. In fact, the only difference is, gusto ko mag-concentrate tayo dito in the next 2 months. At kung ganyan ang gagawin niya in the next 2 months, magmamadali siya na magawa yon, di sustento ang tao, satisfied ang tao.
So there's no issue, sir, sa length of tenure na natitira siya as the next Chief Justice?
Yeah, I was Secretary of Tourism for 2.5 years. Marami naman tayo nagawa, di ba? Di ba? I mean, I'm proud of my record. So it means that kung magaling ka, marami kang magagawa. Huwag kang matakot sa length of time. Pag naandun ka, kumbaga, ibigay mo na ang lahat na maibibigay mo para magawa mo. But at the same time, you have to reward. Ang tagal nagsilbi yan. Naging prosecutor yan. Naging researcher yan sa justice. Naging justice ang Sandigan Bayan. Naging justice ng Supreme Court. Dapat naman, lahat ng abogado, ako lang ata ayaw maging Chief Justice o maging Justice. Dahil ayoko nakapako ako sa upuan. Pero yan, dapat, i-reward mo naman na natapos siya. Pero 45 years of experience. Tapos sabihin mo, 2 months ka na lang, hindi na dapat. Hindi. She's entitled to it, including the retirement benefits. Ganon rin yung iba. Kung may mas magaling sa kanya, ayun ang kukunin natin. Pero lahat sila, meron kakayahan.
Sir, kailan po natin ma-expect yung shortlist ng mga...
By August 20, tapos kami dyan.
So by timeline, sir, of...
dapat ang gagalaw kagad ng Pangulo dyan because you need 90 days para nawala si Sereno June 19, kailangan September 17 tapos tayo.
Alright, thank you, Senator Gordon. At nasaksihan nga natin yung public interview ng Judicial Bar Council sa 5 Chief Justice aspirants. Balik muna sa inyo dyan sa studio, Aljo.
So again, Pauline, kailan yung deliberation? Kailan yung botohan nila? At malalaman natin yung list talaga na isasabit as mga nominees na before President Duterte. Narinig mo ako, Pauline?
Sorry. Aljo, Senator Gordon, may tanong po si Aljo sa studio. Sorry, Aljo, pakiulit lang po yung question natin
yung deliberation nila, yung pagboto, kailan talaga lalabas yung final list?
Nasasabit nila sa
Presidente. Tanong mo.
Wala.
Okay, problema tayo. Sige lang, balikan natin. Thank you so much, Pauline and Senator Gordon. Thank you so much. Okay, sige. Alright, sige, yan ha.
Hindi tayo marinig ni Pauline pero...
Pero actually, natanong na ni Pauline lahat ng mga nitty-gritty at yung mga detalye nito pong ginawang public interview. No? So, hindi pa po sila mga nominado kasi magkakaroon pa po ng botohan dyan. Ha? Sa 7 mga panel member po ng JBC, yung quorum niyan, apat sila at least 4 votes, no? Pipili sila, minimum of 3 ng mga nominado, ipepresent pa yung kay Presidente. So, ilang araw yung from the President? Kasi pag lower courts, I think 90 days?
Yun nga, the same thing. Yun ang sinabi ni, ni Senator Gordon kanina. Within 90 days, dapat i-action na niya ng Presidente.
90 days.
And nakita mo rin yung sinabi ni Senator Gordon, which I really agree with him. Sabi niya, porky ba si Justice De Castro, 2 months na lang. So, parang hindi mo na yun para i-consider, di ba? 45 years in government service, kung magaling naman talaga, unless may mas magaling pa. Kaya nga, may minimum requirement sila Ngayon, itong ilalagi ni Justice De Castro na 2 months na lang, kasi magre-retiro na siya sa Oktubre, hindi ito maaring makasama. Hindi to minus point sa kanya. Kasi continuous lang yan Kung ano yung umpisahan niya bilang Associate Justice ng Supreme Court, kung mauupo siya bilang punong maestrado, ganun pa rin yun. Kumbaga itataking mo yan. Tsaka, sabi nga ni Senator Gordon, lalo niyang pag-iigihan yan.
So advantageous kung sakasakaling naging miyembro ka na. Associate Justice ka na.
Well, of course.
Ng Korte Suprema.
Ganito nga yun, Aljo And may intindihan din tayo ng ating mga kapwa-abogado na kasi kung nandun ka sa loob, naiintindihan mo na.
Okay. So you
Siyempre,
need to adjust.
I also believe na lahat naman tayo may karapatan. Ako gusto ko rin pong maging Chief Justice ng Supreme Court.
Sige.
Kaya lang, may kanya-kanyang panahon yan.
Okay.
Kung ikaw ay outsider, of course, may chance ka. 15 years of practice of law, okay na yon. So, ang puntos lang dyan is magpagalingan kayo. Ano yung mga reforms mo, ano yung pwede mong maiambag bilang punong maestrado at anong kakayanan mo para maging leader ng Korte Suprema.
Yan, dekalibreng Attorney Maris Manalo. Okay, mga kaibigan, ngayon po natin ang pagharap po sa Judicial and Bar Council ng mga nagnanais na maging Chief Justice. Lahat tayo naging bahagi po ng napakalagang yugto sa pagpili ng susunod na punong maestrado.
Yes, at tama ka, Aljo. Mahalagang yugto ito ng kasaysayan ng ating bansang Pilipinas. At ako nga pala ay tawag dito, I say good luck to everyone dun sa mga kandidato. At dito sa ating mga panel of sa JBC, congratulations. Ang gagaling po ninyo.
So, pero hindi po dito nagtatapos ang proseso. Magpapulong pa po ang Judicial and Bar Council para magbigay ng shortlist sa Pangulo. And si Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang siya namang magtatalaga ng bagong Chief Justice. So maraming salamat sa pagsama po sa amin ngayong hapon. Attorney Maris, thank you so much.
Yes, salamat sa iyo, Aljo. At maraming salamat po din sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Attorney Maris, kasama si Aljo Bandijo at si Pauline Requesto. At ito po ang PTV Special Coverage selecting the next Chief Justice.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you, Attorney.